Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. In this video we are gonna see, what if Naruto becomes the Freezing Shinobi and got Harem? Part 1. Huge shout out to Azure King and Azure Queen for this story. If you want more awesome fan fiction like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So without wasting any time, let's get into the video. The 16-year-old blonde woke up only to see he was in a strange bubble, made out of some sort transparent energy that he could not identify. After examining the bubble, the blonde boy starts looking around, trying to see what's outside the bubble. But what he sees shocks him greatly. The closest way to describe it, what he saw outside, was that it looked like entire place was a gray, stormy sky. A sky a person sees when it's about to rain. Looking around some more, the confused blonde also noticed that there are many strange pale blue tears all around the place. The boy finally can't help but ask, "Where am I?" He was shocked when he actually hears an answer. "Do not worry, Uzumaki Naruto, you are safe in the bubble." Naruto starts searching from where the voice had came, and when he looks up, he is taken aback to see all the 9 Biju looking at him with both sadness and humor in their eyes. "Hashirama. You're alright, and so are the other Biju." The blonde teenager yells in joy. Then he starts panicking. "Wait, crap. Quick. We need to go back to the war." The red 9-tailed fox eyes before he starts speaking while looking at the other Biju. "You see what I worked with for almost 16 years. Oi, kid, did you forget about what you did to Madara?" Kurama asked in annoyance. Naruto stops panicking and after taking a deep breath, tries to remember what had happened. "Okay, I saved Guy Sensei from that bastard after meeting that old geezer in my dreams. What was his name again? Sage of Six Paths or something, I think. Then well, I can't seem to remember what happened after that," says the boy with a sigh. The blue flame, taking the form of a 2-tailed cat, smiles at the boy. "You have defeated Madara with a jutsu that had sent him here, where he was quite literally teared apart in the most painful way. But unfortunately, the jutsu you used had also sent you here, into this realm along with him." The cat finished talking with a somber tone in her voice. Then the 1-tailed tanuki started speaking. "It's only thanks to all ours combined efforts that you have survived from sharing the same fate as Madara." The 4-tailed monkey continued. "We used what little chakra we had left to create this chakra bubble to protect you from the effects of this place." After hearing all this, the blonde tries to remember what jutsu had he used. It didn't take long for the blonde to remember what he had done. "The space and time jutsu," shouted Naruto. He starts remembering how despite him and Sasuke gaining a huge power-ups, it wasn't enough to defeat Madara when he somehow managed to gain the second Rinnegan eye and turn the scales of war into his favor once again. Out of desperation, Naruto used his father's special Hiraishin jutsu to get behind Madara and get him into a tight hold. He remembered how Madara laughed at his efforts and was about to use Kamui to escape the blonde's hold. But that was exactly what Naruto was waiting for. When Madara's Kamui started appearing, Naruto used the Hiraishin jutsu at that very same time. Naruto can't explain it properly, but the 2 jutsu somehow reacted to one another and created some sort of tear in the air that was slowly sucking both of them in. Madara had started panicking when he saw the tear, and Naruto capitalized on it by throwing himself into the tear while still holding Madara. The last thing that the blonde remembers is how his vision turned wide upon entering it and hearing Madara screaming. Kurama, seeing that Naruto finally realized what happened, started speaking with a mocking voice. "I see your tiny brain has finally started working again." Feigning an angry look, Naruto shouted. "Oh, just shut up, you overgrown furball." Taking a few calming breaths, the blonde asked. "Okay, so how do we get back?" The ominous silence that assaulted Naruto made him quickly realize the sad truth. "There's no way back, is there?" asked the blonde while looking down with golden hair bangs shadowing his eyes. Kurama nods. "Yes, this place is in between dimensions. The tier that you opened has closed when you entered this plane and you can't use it to get back home." Before the blonde can start speaking, he is cut off by Kurama. "I know what you're going to ask, Naruto, and the answer is no, we can't open the tier again. You see, the plane we are in is like a limbo between different dimensions. The tiers you see around here are like doorways that lead to other worlds. Some may be similar to our world, some are completely different. There are billions upon billions of these tiers all over this plane. If we tried to open the tier again, there is only 1 in a billion chance that it will lead you back to your original world." Before Naruto can speak, he is again cut off by Kurama's grave voice. "This is not the only problem we are facing. Naruto, our chakra is fading. Me and the other Biju can't hold this protective bubble for long." Naruto sat on his behind as he sighs. "So what now?" An 8-tailed octopus with ox horns took this opportunity to speak. "We Biju have to go back to the elemental nation. The Jubi will once again be separated from being overused by that Uchiha idiot. We have to make sure that we keep the order nature in check." The cat Biju spoke once more, so since we can't get you back home, we can send you safely to a new world by using one of the tiers present in here. After some thinking, Naruto stands up and stretches. Then he gives the Biju one of his famous bright smiles and says. Well, it's sad that I can't get back home, it's still better than nothing. I'm just happy that my friends and elemental nations are no longer in danger. Naruto throws his fist in the air and shouts, alright, let's do this. Hashirama smiles as they made the bubble slowly drift away from their sights. Naruto. Please know that I'm sorry for the life you had to endure, the beatings, the glares, the alienation and harassment. You never blamed it on me once, and now all I can do is this. Naruto's eyes slowly closed as he felt tears running down his cheeks. Sayonara partner, and don't worry, I won't ever hold anything against you. Then he start talking to himself. So long my Homeba-chan, Sakura-chan, even you Sasuke team and everyone else. I hope you will move on and continue to live with happiness in your lives. Naruto felt the bubble turn into a shroud and surround his body like a blanket. Then he felt like his body was falling incredibly fast. Unknown location, near a forest. Naruto opens his eyes to see a beautiful blue sky. Babagu. Naruto tried to speak only to notice that his voice came out like that of a baby. Holy Mother of Raymond, shouted Naruto in his mind. He moved his left arm to his vision only to witness small baby-like fingers. Okay. Baby noises check, baby hand check. There was absolutely no doubt. He was a freaking baby. He tried to yell, but only a cry of a baby came out instead. Naruto started panicking. He was a baby again, in the middle of nowhere with a strange woman in front him giving him creepy smile. Wait. Naruto comically froze still as he looked at the most strangest, but at the same time most beautiful woman he ever saw. And he thought that the Mizukage from Kiri was hot. She had long, waist-length, pale blonde hair that was only few steps away from being white. Her skin was so pale that it looked like she had never been out in the sun before. She had a gorgeous body, with all the right proportions. A body that puts to shame all the females he has ever seen in his life. Naruto blushed when he saw her clothing. A long blue dress that left the front of her body almost completely open except for her breast. She wore what almost looked like panties, but Naruto didn't dare to look long at her nether regions. She wore thigh-long, blue socks on her legs, and on her hands she wore forearm-length gloves. Naruto also noticed that for some strange reason, there appeared to be stone-like crack marks on some places of her body and clothes. It's as if she was made out of stone. Then Naruto looked at her face. What greeted him was a very cute and at the same time beautiful face. What Naruto really took notice of was her eyes. They were yellow eyes that have a strange uneven lines, almost like slits, in the middle of each of her pupil. After examining her appearance, Naruto noticed that she, for reasons he couldn't even begin to understand, was giving him a creepy smile. Almost like the one Orochimaru gives when he sees something interesting. Naruto could feel a deep chill running down his small spine. The woman walked up to him and picked him up. She then started examining his body herself and making sure to not miss anything. When she was done, she looks at his face while still having the same creepy smile. Naruto was surprised when she kissed his forehead and started rubbing her cheek against his own. She then stops and touches his chest with her hand. Naruto noted how her touch became very cold and noticed that faint blue lines started to go all over his body. Naruto started feeling very cold, as if he was thrown into a freezer. It got so cold it was almost impossible to bear and closed his eyes shut because of it. But as quickly the feeling came it also as quickly left. When Naruto opened his eyes he saw that she was still looking at him with that creepy smile. Naruto, she suddenly said in a distorted voice. The once shinobi of Konoha eyes widened as the strange woman somehow knew his name. Bada. Naruto tried to ask her a question, but cursed when nothing but baby sounds came out. She starts walking forward as Naruto hears loud roaring noises coming from the direction they were walking. Suddenly she stops and lays Naruto down as she smiles again at him, but this time not with a creepy but a more sweet and warm smile. When she placed Naruto on the ground, she took few steps back and then slowly faded away from existence. Naruto noted how the surroundings near her were distorting a little as she faded. After she was gone, Naruto simply sweat dropped. Really? I just found out that I'm a baby. I was taken from the middle of nowhere to somewhere else, and plus that woman did something strange to my body. Before he can think about anything else he heard the same roaring noise he heard few moments ago coming closer near his position and then a stop into screeching halt. Appa, wait. There's a baby on the side of the road. A young girl's voice was heard. When Naruto looked at where the voice came from, he sees a smiling 2-year-old girl approaching and picking him up in her arms. She turned around to face a brown-haired man with a prickly beard on his carefree face. Naruto guessed that he was her father. He hears the man saying, "Arnett, let me see the child." Naruto felt how Arnett reluctantly gave him to the man's arms. After examining the baby, the man smiles at Naruto who just stares at the girl's father. "Hey buddy, what's your name?" he says. Naruto sweat drops but decided played along with the man and made a bunch of baby noises, ba goo goo. Arnett giggles, Papa he can talk. She took the baby back in her possession, hey can say Arnett. Arnett. She stretched the last word trying to make the baby say her name. Naruto giggles, sadly he couldn't chuckle, and smiles, want it. He spoke. With a new voice box and no teeth made this simple task rather difficult. The girl squeals as she hugs the boy, oh, Papa can we keep him? The man slowly takes the child off his daughter's hands. He turns away and spoke in a whisper, you know what little guy? You made my little girl smile for the first time since her mother passed away, may God rest her soul, so I'm glad to welcome you to our family. The brown-haired man smiles as Naruto became silent. The family something he always wanted to have and still does along with an infinite supply of ramen. He couldn't help but give a bright smile and start laughing which came out as giggles since he was still a baby. The man then grabs Arnett as she giggles and after looking at some of the baby's Asian features he says Arnett say hello to your new little brother, Naruto Macmillan. United States on the road to San Francisco. The 12-year-old boy who had blonde hair that instead of being short and spiky in his previous life, now was long and straight and with blue eyes was sitting on the passenger seat in an old pickup truck. He wore a white long-sleeved t-shirt and baggy dark brown pants. He was reading some articles from the newspaper. Looks like there is going to be a talent show in San Francisco for children. Any child that isn't below 10 years and isn't above 14 can participate. During the competition the children can demonstrate what special talents they have. Wow. The winner of the talent show receives $2,000 grand prize. Step on it dad. I'm gonna make it to that competition and win that prize while also showing how awesome I am. Keith Macmillan, who was driving a truck, chuckles as he yells out, don't worry about it son. We will get in time for the competition. So relax and enjoy the ride. The 14-year-old Arnett smacks her father's shoulder playfully, come on dad. Naruto spends most of paychecks to buy those silly dolls. Oi it's Gundam model sis. Naruto voice could be heard in the background, the young woman sitting next to Naruto had grown up to be quite beautiful if you ask his honest opinion. Arnett has long red hair with parts of her sideburns curling to the inside. Her ponytail barely reached her back. She still doesn't have much of chest to look at but is well on her way in gaining one. Her being dressed in some plain farmer clothes doesn't make her look any less cute. Naruto sighs. Don't forget that the competition has $2,000 in cash. Besides, this is the closest thing to fighting I'll get. While I may not fight anyone, at least I can show off some of my awesome combat moves. Though he closes his eyes has a slight smirk on his face as he knows that this little competition was just for some light practice to control of his movements better. The workout, one might say. After he wins this, he'll start doing some real training in order to accomplish his goals. He pulls out his cell phone and after looking at it he thinks to himself. Arnett's birthday is coming up soon. I think after the talent show I'll buy her a gift. He set himself into a more comfortable position on the truck seat as he held his right hand to his side hidden from anyone's view. Faint blue lines and small trails of voltage energy dance upon his fingers. Come Yamato. In his hand a glowing katana appears. Volt weapon Naruto whispers. Naruto then releases the katana to make it disappear before his dad or Arnett could notice it. He turns to the passenger seat window and looks at the scenery passing by. He starts remembering his past 10 years in this new world with his new family. The first year of his new life was probably the most awkward and the most embarrassing in both of his lives. Being a baby meant that there were many things he couldn't do for himself and many things he didn't have control of in his body. Like the need to go potty. The biggest terror of his first year. Having to wear diapers again was bad enough, but having them being changed was worst. And being a baby with an adult mind didn't make things better. He prayed every single day to grow up faster. But fate decided to keep torturing him like that. He personally blames Niji for this, may God rest his soul. Damn bastard is most likely laughing from beyond the grave at Naruto's predicament. It was a big relief when by the end of the first year his body has grown strong enough that he could start walking on his own. No longer he had to endure Arnett's giggling or his dad laughter when he went poopy. He was also happy that during the second year, he could finally talk properly. Of course he still limited his speech. It would be quite hard to explain why a 2-year-old child was talking like a grown-up. During the second year Naruto also came to a realization that he no longer could use chakra. He was quite scared when he tried to get a feel of his chakra reserves and only to find that he didn't have a drop of it in his body. He managed to calm down long enough to think over the situation. It was easy to conclude why he had no chakra. It's mostly because chakra in this world doesn't exist at all. It would be stupid to think that every different world has chakra where there are literally billions of worlds out there. Each has different origins and their own unique energies. The closest thing Naruto could find comparison to chakra was the Kai energies he read about in the books of the New World. But there weren't any accurate ways or descriptions on how drawn on it or even use it. He also guessed that it was because of these reasons Naruto was turned into a baby again. His body needed to adapt in having no chakra or he could have complications in the future. This of course didn't mean he gave up on being a ninja. While his body doesn't have any chakra, it doesn't mean he's harmless. Far from it. Naruto remembers how his best friend Lee could also not use chakra, but that didn't stop him from becoming a force to be reckoned with. Naruto started doing some light training in secret. He didn't push himself too far though as he was still just a child and going overboard might lead to a severe injury or trauma. He continued doing light training till he reached year 4 of his life when he decided to step up his training and started doing the exercises he was taught during his ninja academy years in his previous life. This again continued until he reached year 6 of his life. His dad decided to enroll him into an elementary school. Despite Naruto not being at kindergarten, the knowledge he possessed was more than enough to get him admitted to a school. It didn't come to a surprise when he was declared a young prodigy there. It's only natural that he was considered one. He's a child with an adult's mind after all. Only 2 years passed and Naruto had skipped 2 grades. At age 8 he started going to middle school and even there, again, he was declared a prodigy. He continued his schooling and training, but at times he skipped school for a few months. Not because he hated it. But because he wanted to help his father with his truck deliveries along with Arnett. Of course his father tried to protest, but the combination of puppy dog eyes from Naruto and Arnett were more than enough to break his will. This routine continued till Naruto reached age 9. The year Naruto first discovered his new powers. It happened the next day after his 9th birthday celebration party. He was given some money as a birthday gift from one of his dad's friends, so he decided to do some shopping at the nearby mall. Arnett had also decided to tag along with him. After spending all day having fun at the mall, they decided to go home as it was starting to get dark. While walking through one of the back alleys close to home, they were ambushed by a small group of 4 men. They were simple thugs, and seeing 2 kids walking all alone made them look easy targets for stealing some money. One of the thugs grabbed Arnett while another went for Naruto. Thanks to the years of training, Naruto managed to avoid being grabbed and instead delivered a swift kick to the man's groin. The thug collapsed from pain and it was clear that he won't be getting up for a while. Naruto then went to engage the other 2 men. While Naruto was pretty strong for a kid his age, the 2 men were stronger. One of them managed to blindside Naruto and hit him hard on the head. Naruto collapsed on the ground but was still conscious. He heard Arnett screaming his name but was cut off when she was hit on the head as well and lost consciousness. While still on the ground, Naruto heard the thugs saying they will have some fun with Arnett for all the trouble they went through. At that moment something snapped in Naruto. He didn't want to see his family get hurt by some low-lived thugs, and the need to save his sister brought a sudden rush of power. It exploded out of Naruto's body and froze everything in place. Naruto was surprised how everything within 10-meter radius was still. As if everything was frozen in time. When he looked down at his hands, he noticed them being covered in strange metallic gauntlets. Naruto decided to put aside all of the confusion and quickly punched the frozen men in the groins hard, picked up Arnett and escaped from the scene. It was fortunate that when Naruto exited the alley his powers stopped working, so no one noticed them. He saw a police patrol car passing by and reported them of assault on him and Arnett. Of course he left out the details about his new discovered powers. The event left Arnett shell-shocked for a few months and she was scared to even go outside the house. But Naruto and along with his dad managed to help Arnett get over the incident. After a few more months, she was back to her normal self. But this event had also made a big impact on Naruto as well. Not only he discovered that he had new powers, but he also had a shot of reality as well. The world might be different, but there are still bad people in it and there are still many lurking dangers in life. He knows this very well. He was a ninja after all. For 1 year Naruto practiced with his new powers. It was fortunate that he managed to find out what they are. The explosion of energy Naruto had during the robbery was actually a freezing field. It the same ability that Nova used and some special people called limiters. The gauntlets Naruto had summoned were called Volt Weapon that only special female soldiers called Pandora can summon. It wasn't that hard to find really as the knowledge of Nova, limiters and Pandora was pretty common. During the same year, Naruto had also discovered that after his first used powers, he became much stronger and faster. His speed was that of Lee with his weights on. Naruto could punch a wall and leave a pretty big crack or dent in it. He also had much more endurance. His stamina was almost to the level he had when could still use chakra and Kurama was sealed in him, plus his super regeneration was back. That itself was a pretty big deal. With these new enhancements Naruto could start doing some serious training without having to fear of going overboard. Another thing he discovered was that he could actually summon more than one type of Volt weapon. He found out about this when he tried to summon the gauntlets again, but instead summoned a spear. Being intrigued by this, he dismissed the weapon and tried summoning it again, only this time he received a bladed tonfas. Another attempt produced him throwing knife similar to the kunai he used to use back in his old world. Some more attempts, Naruto found that he could summon a katana, a sword and a shield. These new discoveries made Naruto pretty ecstatic as now he had better means in protecting his family. But this also gave a rise to a big question on how he got them. The only explanation Naruto could come up with was when that strange lady did something to his body when he was just a baby. But then another question arose. Who was she? Was she some special Pandora? No. If Naruto remembers correctly, Pandora don't look the way the mysterious woman looked, plus those eyes were kind of a giveaway that she wasn't exactly human. And was she a Nova? Most likely yes. But if she was, then why did she give him those powers? What were her reasons? Why give them to the child that might her enemy in the future? No matter how much Naruto thought over this matter, he couldn't think of any possible motive she had and decided to give it up for now, but he will get his answers, and getting into the genetics academy will be the first step towards them. But he can't do it now. He still needs to prepare himself, plus he has to keep his abilities hidden, even from his family. Naruto is no fool. He knows that even in this world, there are people similar to Orochimaru or Danzo who would jump at the chance capture and experiment on someone like Naruto. Not only he would be putting himself in danger, even more importantly, he would be putting his family in danger. For once in his life Naruto needs to stop rushing into the unknown without preparing himself properly. Naruto is brought out of his memories when he hears his sister and father engaging into an argument. Something about how Arnett is still far from matching her mother in beauty and personality. Naruto can only laugh at how those two sometimes argue like small children. Every moment he shares with family is precious to him. They are his precious people that he will protect no matter what. Even if he has to take on some thugs, the government or Nova. No one will harm them as long as Naruto draws breath. He decided to take a nap, knowing that there is still a long road ahead till they get to San Francisco. Not like we're going to pick up any hitchhikers anyway. Naruto muttered to himself, but just when he closed his eyes, he hears his sister yell out in shock. Naruto stood up from his seat in alert, preparing to summon his bold weapon, and only blush when he sees two girls dressed in bikinis hitchhiking. Naruto then thinks. Okay, I've been proven wrong before, but God, when are you going to finally give me my lifetime supply of ramen? Didn't I have enough troubles with girls in my past life? Naruto gotten rid of his blush as he noticed his adoptive father not slowing down. Naruto turns to his father and says, "Yo, old man, you usually slow down when a woman needs help." He points at Naruto's adoptive sister, "Well, she doesn't want me to stop Sue. I can't really do much." The man chuckles nervously as Arnett looks at her brother with a pout. "Don't tell me that you want to help them too." Arnett questions her 2-year younger sibling. Naruto mentally rolled his eyes knowing Arnett's protective attitude. "Come on sis, think about it, maybe their clothes got stolen along with their luggage. And if we leave them there they might get mugged or even worse, raped." He tries to guilt trip his sister into helping those women who they just passed. It proved to be a success as Arnett seemed to be affected by his words. "Well, if there was a stop sign we could stop for a few seconds, but I don't see one." Naruto smirks as he quietly sticks his hand through the open car window. Yamato he summons the glowing Japanese katana. He quickly stabs the weapon into the front right tire so quickly that no one even saw him doing it. After quickly dismissing the weapon, Naruto smiles at his handiwork. "Hey, Dad. I think we got a flat tire at front. It seems that it's slanting." The young boy, formerly named Uzumaki, said in his best fake worried tone. Keith nods and pulls over. Arnett then yells at them for not noticing that something was wrong with the tires before they left the gas station. Naruto smiles at how his sister is so childish when she's being honest with herself. On the inside, she was glad that they stopped so she can help those two girls. As much as Naruto wanted to laugh at this, he notices the two bikini-clad women coming towards their direction. Excuse us." A blonde-haired girl who had her short hair tied into pigtails started to speak. Her dark-haired friend continues. "Thank you so much for stopping." She yells. "Hold it." Arnett yells, slightly hurting Naruto's enhanced hearing. Now he knows how the Inuzuka's clan members felt when they complained about some people being too loud for their hearing. The two girls stopped dead in their tracks as they became scared for just a second of this tiny ow. "Sorry, young woman. Look, we're sorry, but we didn't stop for you." The two older women shake with disappointment and fear that they might be left in the middle of nowhere. "Look, we just got a flat tire, we're not picking you up," Arnett announced bluntly. The blonde woman speaks as she tries to persuade the redhead to change her mind. "Please, our rental car just broke down and we've been walking for at least 5 hours now. Very please, if you could just take us to the next oasis, we would be very grateful." She begs as her friend nods rapidly. Naruto and Keith, who already finished switching out the tires, smile at this. Ever since that accident at the back alley, Arnett had a rather hard time to talking to adults save for her father's associates and teachers. Seeing how she handles the two women reminds them of her former flame. Arnett sighs after finishing the shouting match and nods, "Fine, let me see some ID, so I can at least call the cops on your butts." The two girls started to hesitate and Naruto, who is still smiling, now frowned. He may have a new body, but that doesn't mean his ability to sense emotions were gone. Once a ninja, always a ninja when it comes to asking and unusual things. They seem to be hiding something. Need to look deeper into this. The blonde hitchhiker looks at her dark-haired friend. "Hey, you still got your student ID right?" Her friend glares at her. "I idiot. How long do you think it's been since I graduated from college?" She then points her finger at the blonde woman. "How about your worker ID?" The blonde scoffs, "Like I'd bring that with me when I'm on vacation." As they both start to bicker at each other, Arnett and Naruto sweat drop at the scene before them and only one thought went through their minds, too suspicious. The two hitchhikers and Naruto sit together in the back of the truck in silence. Naruto is forced to sit with them to ensure that none of the merchandise gets stolen. Arnett looks back with a glare, "Do something to my little brother and you're both dead meat." The dark-haired girl, whose first name was known as Kate, looks at Naruto and whispers to him, "Hey, is she a Sasuke or something?" Naruto holds in a laugh as he shook his head, not trusting his own voice to speak. Arnett's head came from her side of the window with a glare. "Hey, I'll throw you off if you do anything weird. I told you we're normal girls." Kate lets out an exhausted sigh after repeating this again. "Haha, relax. They don't look like bad girls." The kind father shares his 2 cents into the conversation. Arnett sighs as she looks at her father with disapproving look. "You trust people way too easily, Papa." Naruto chuckles knowing where this was heading to. "That's why we lose so much money. The last girl we gave a ride nearly stole all of our money." Kathy, who was the blonde girl, looks at Naruto as Arnett rants out to the poor kind man. "Nearly." Naruto smiles sheepishly. "Well, I had to chase after the woman for nearly 5 miles, then tackle her and report the attempted robbery to the police," he said as the two women's eyes widen at this insane child. Kate, after recovering from her shock, asks Naruto, "How old are you again?" Naruto gave an innocent, "Too young for you, Ms. Kato, of course, I won't tell if you want," he said mischievously. Kate blushes but smirks. "Aw, thanks, although you are a bit too easy to tease for me, since you blush beet red when you see my body." Naruto was the one to turn red now. "Well, you know what they say, bodies that are well developed tend to sag fast." Kate gains a tick mark and lunges at the kid, but Kathy intercepts and holds her from doing anything stupid. "Come on, Kathy, this kid needs to be taught some manners." "Calm down, Kate. It was just harmless banter, right kiddo?" Kathy asked, although from her look it seems like she's begging. Naruto laughs heartily. Hi, I was just joking." Mostly he often remembers hearing how Samui complained that her breasts made her back sore. Now that he thinks about it, she looks a lot like Tsunade weird. Arnett's head comes out as she looks at her brother. "Hey, Naruto, don't talk to them. Given what they did earlier, I say they're prestigious or something close." Kate got angry once more. "Who are you calling a prostitute?" She then shows off her body, and this in return made Arnett yell at her rudeness. Naruto can only face palm at the sight of a grown woman yelling at a 14-year-old girl. "Ms. Kathy?" The nicer female nods as she saw her friend continue to yell at the truck driver's daughter. "Yeah, kiddo. This is going to take well, huh?" "Most likely, yeah," they both sigh dramatically as night starts falling upon the sky. At night, Naruto had a horrified look as Kathy and Kate finished eating their meals like some wild beasts. Naruto swore to the god of Japan that he'll never act like that with Ramen again. No wonder Sakura turned him down to get Ramen if she saw that all the time. The girls patted their stomachs in satisfaction. "Thanks for the food," they said to Naruto. He smiles as he finished his chicken and rice meal. "It's fine, still, try to restrain yourselves from eating like that," he warns them as the girls giggle nervously. Kate smiles at Naruto in gratitude for the meal. "You seriously made this? If didn't have a boyfriend, I'd steal you from your sister." She laughs out loud. Kathy looks at Naruto, then at Keith and Arnett, who started to wash the dishes in nearby stream. Naruto, I don't mean to pry, but are you adopted?" "Yup, the old man told me that he found me besides the road when Arnett told him stop." He relays what happened, leaving out the details about that Nova woman that dumped him on the side of the road after giving him his freezing and volt weapons abilities. Kathy nods. "I so sorry." Naruto gave a whimsical smile. Don't worry about it, in fact, this family loves one another and have a blast each day. I mean, I would have liked to see my real parents, but I still wouldn't trade my current life with Arnett and the old man for anything. He loves his mom and dad, Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki, Konoha's greatest shinobis." Kate and Kathy gave a look of respect at the former shinobi of Konoha. Kate then smirks. "Sai. Do you like your sister?" she teased. Naruto knows where this is heading so he shook his head. "No, I see her as a sister though she is very beautiful and kind." Kate was shocked when he gave his answer, "Kind, that little devil can be kind. To be fair, you started it, but she can be a little overprotective of me and dad sometimes," he admitted. Says the guy who chased a woman for 5 miles to prevent a robbery. Kate talks back. Naruto chuckles, "What can I say, don't fuck with my family. Anyway, so you guys on vacation or something?" Kathy nods happily, "Bingo, kiddo. We still have 3 days left and we decided to spend it all here shopping and swimming and sightseeing." Naruto smirks inwardly as he plans to do a small verbal prank. "So where do you girls work at that pays for this kind of vacation?" He smiles as the two girls stiffen at the question. Well, we live close to our job. It's a very big company that does business all around the world so it pays quite well. Kate stutters at first before she came up with a good lie. Naruto noticed their high levels of metabolism during dinner and their hearing was pretty good to hear Arnett over a loud engine. Naruto eyes gained a calculated look as he thought of one single word: Pandora. Naruto now realizes that they are most likely heading towards one of the Chevalier bases that was in San Francisco. The blonde Macmillan sighs mentally, Shikamaru was right, females are troublesome. After some small chatting about current events, he sees his father in the truck holding an envelope. That must be Arnett's stigmata compatibility test results. He hope he will talk to her directly about this. Naruto looks to see his sister shivering slightly from the cold air as the blanket she covered herself with was thin. Seeing this, Naruto and placed his own blanket over the young woman, but when he was about to get another one, he feels his hand being grabbed by hers. She murmurs, but Naruto knows that she wants him to sleep with her. She often accidentally made him sleeps with her whenever she went to the bathroom in the night. Naruto slips in and snuggles next to her, smiling as he gently fell asleep. San Francisco, Ramona Inn. The family and the two Hitchhikers came to the small talent show. Naruto smiles at how Kate and Kathy were speechless after witnessing his bojutsu techniques. He was glad that he was taught by the old man in using those old staff techniques. After giving half to his prize money to his father, since Arnett's birthday is today, they decide to go all out. "Thanks again for the ride, Keith," Naruto. Kate thanked the two kind males. Naruto waves to them, "Anytime, y'all take care of yourselves now." He chuckles at Kate who winks at him as Arnett held his hand glares at the older female. So now what? Off to whore yourselves out?" Arnett rudely spat out as she didn't want to let them be near Naruto any longer. Kate glares at the girl, "You damn little brat." As the two froth, Kathy looks at Naruto, "Hey Naruto, do you know a place anywhere where can stay that's good?" The 12-year-old kid nods and takes out a map. "Yeah, here. This place is owned by a pretty good man who's an old family friend. And the cost is fair as it can be." Kathy smiles sweetly at Naruto, "Thanks, cutie pie." She gives the boy a peck on the cheek. As she and Kate left, Arnett glares daggers at the two as she rubs the spot on Naruto's cheek where Kathy kissed. After cleaning off lipstick marks, she gave a peck of her own and starts walking to the hotel. Naruto chuckles at his sister's overprotectiveness. "Arnett, I swear Kathy caught me off guard." She huffs and nods, "Fine, sorry for thinking that the whore tried to get you paid for kissing." Naruto sweat drops, you are still upset aren't you?" He saw Arnett look at a Samsung device, the newest model out on the market. Naruto watches her leave as Keith taps his shoulder and mouths called. Naruto snaps his fingers as his father beat him to his sister gift. Naruto wonders what to get Arnett until he sees in a jewelry shop something that catches his attention. Jackpot. Later, in Ramona Inn's cafe. Arnett was crunching numbers on a calculator, "Like I said," she repeated as she cracks down more digits. "When you factor the inflation." She raises the calculator to a middle-aged man, "We need at least this much to make any decent money. Of course additional and extra charges aren't included in here." She held a professional tone and was strong in numbers. The middle-aged man laughs, "Ahaha, I give." He knows that Arnett prides herself in her abilities in math, above even her own family. Well, not really, but she still has some pride to show off. Arnett speaks again with her business face still on, "Then, do we have a deal? You're way rougher than your mother was." "Okay, we have a deal." The old maid shook hands with the girl. "Thanks as always, Mr. Smith," she cheerfully says. She wore her dress that she usually wears for important meetings. It was sea green with a nice aquamarine in the breast area, making her look like she lives near the ocean. "Boyd, Ad, bring out the cake out." Arnett turns to look and sees her little brother and dad rolling in a huge cake. She loves it whenever someone's having a birthday cake in Mr. Smith's hotel because most of the time she can get a piece. "Wow, now that's a nice cake. I didn't know there was a party today." "Who's it for?" she asked as Naruto and Keith chuckled at her question. "Everyone, could I have your attention please?" Keith asked everyone in the cafe and became silent for a few moments. "Naruto, care to take it from here?" The blonde nods, yo everyone, today is my big sister's 14th birthday. If it's not too much trouble, can you all help me and dad celebrate it with us? He shouted. Every tourist, resident and staff yell at the same time, sure. Happy B-Day Arnett. They all start to cheer for the girl. Aid and Kathy came towards the redhead who was still in shock like a deer caught by the headlights. Oh, so today's your birthday. Little brat. Kate teases Arnett who didn't try to make a comeback. Kathy smiles sweetly and hugs the younger girl, happy birthday. Arnett blushes and looks down, becoming meek and shy. Oh right, he forgot, so today was my birthday. She was working so hard that she forgot that she was turning 14 today. Keith came and handed her a present. Here, I got you this. Arnett slowly rips the wrapping and gasps when she sees the Samsung tablet that she saw with Naruto back at the market. All the kids want this one nowadays, right? Sorry I didn't notice. Though Arnett's heart was jumping from pure joy for the newest Samsung tablet she got, but Papathis is really expensive. Before Keith can say that it was bought from Naruto's prize money, Kate took the device and started it up. Wow, awesome. This is the newest model. Hey, let's exchange emails. Kathy also started to put down her email as well. Me too. Arnett blushes that they started to play with the tablet before she can. I don't want yours. Naruto silently thanks the girls who saved the party with their antics. Maybe, oh shit. Naruto watches as his father shows a letter from the Chevalier that made Arnett nervous. Naruto pick up on her nervousness and small amount of anger. Dad, wait. When did I ever say I was gonna be a Pandora? Arnett yells as everyone was stunned at this statement. Papa, you who said you get to make this decision for me, are you telling me to go fight the Nova? Do you want me to leave you and Naruto and risk my life on the battlefield, you big idiot? She yelled at Keith. While crying, she turns around and runs away from the crowd. Papa, I hate you. What are you waiting for, Keith? Mr. Smith yells as he pats Keith's back to snap him back to reality. Go after her. Keith was about to run after her, but wait, everyone heard Naruto's voice. I'll be the one to find her. Keith saw the look on Naruto's face when he walked past him, disappointment. Dottie, know you want what's best for Arnett, but you should have first discussed this with Harem. Little bit disappointed that you did this. However, I understand what you were going for with that. Naruto leaves in his top speed to quickly find his older sister. The blonde spotted his beloved sibling near the port. The boy relaxes his walk seeing as how depressed his sister is. She didn't notice her brother seat himself next to her. I'm guessing the cake wasn't made from ice cream. Arnett let out a choked sob that had a faint ha. Naruto, I don't want to leave you or dad. I really want to become a Pandora, but. I knew that they would send that letter, but I always thought that just maybe they wouldn't care about some poor country girl like me. Naruto lets Arnett place her head on top of his shoulder. Arnett, trust me on this. There is no way in hell people with gifts like yours will be unnoticed. They really are amazing, huh? Chosen heroes that can do what many others can't. Guess that's what I thought when they told me. Naruto nods. I reckon that you already knew of the letter being sent. You always did have a way to be a few steps ahead of me and the old man. Arnett suddenly hugs him and tears start pooling on his chest. I turned them down because the training session will be for at least 4 years. There's no way I'll do that to you and dad. I'd rather die than do that. Naruto lets her cry and rubs her back while humming a soothing song. Arnett stood up while still hugging him and looks up to see his eyes. She'd forgotten that he was a few inches taller than her. Hey, just stay here with Yao and dad. For some reason, when she added her father, it felt a little like a lie. I just want to continue being your big sister. You and dad are useless without me. I'm going to take over dad's truck and we'll still always be together. Naruto nods as he wipes the last of his sister's tears. Alright, but still I want you to talk with dad. Arnett nods, not trusting her voice for the moment, and relaxes in her little brother's embrace. But she felt his hands play something around her neck. What she saw him give her a handsome smile as he gave her a small mirror. She looks at it and sees a golden necklace with a platinum locket hanging from her neck. Naruto, this icy can't. Just don't say anything and enjoy it. The two just stood there not knowing that Keith was smiling at them. Those two are really closer than most siblings are and I don't care. As long they're happy. After the little upset of the party, Arnett talked to her father and they both agreed to settle the matter of joining Pandora on the way back home. She is currently walking around the hotel halls. She then stops and looks at the lobby clock that indicates midnight. She decides to go and look for her brother. It didn't take her long to find him as she already knew where Naruto would be at this time of the night. The arcade room built for the children staying at the hotel. When she walks into the room she sees. Trans Am. Naruto yells as he is playing a game called Gundam Custom Fighters. It was the newest game that uses holographic system, which allows to do 3D battles with custom-made machines or rather small 1/144th scale models of the show machines. Naruto was fighting against the last boss as he dodges a missile, okay, activating Quantum Burst. And in 5 seconds he won the game without getting hit. Woo. I never get tired of playing this game. Make no mistake, Naruto is no otaku, but he loves watching the series because of the protagonist and how rivals share philosophy about war. Arnett looks and smiles at her little brother when he turns to see her. Hey, good job. Thanks sis. It's just practice that finally got me to the final level. Yawn, man, I'm tired of playing for so long, guess it's time to for bed. As he walks past Arnett, he felt her arm grabs his, making the former Uzumaki turn to see his sister have a shy look on her face. Hey, do you mind if I sleep with you tonight? She stops as Naruto places a finger on her lips and nods. It's okay, no. Tomorrow, morning. Arnett smiles in happiness as she helps Smith with the cleaning. She may not look like it, but she loves doing household chores, and it only even better when Naruto helps out every time he can. Speaking of her brother, he's currently playing more Gundams with the children again. She huffs at this, at times he can act so mature, but at times he can also be so childish. Well, I guess it's my job as a big sister to keep him in line. She sighs at this predicament as reaches the room that she was told to clean next. Excuse me, I'm here to clean your room. Arnett politely announced her arrival but gets no response. She knocks a bit harder and realizes that the door is actually open. Excuse me, I'm here to make the bed, and ahhhhhh. She yells out in anger at seeing Kate and Cynthia sleeping in nothing but their panties with beer bottles around them. Arnett blushes deep red as she grabs the cover of the bed that the women were sleeping on. How filthy. You're both girls. What do you think you're doing? She yells out loud again, making everyone awake. Naruto smiles as he watches a young boy about to beat the last boss of the game. Alright, deploying rifle bits. The young boy says with excitement in his voice until. That's my line. What the hell are you doing, brat? Yeah, what's wrong, Arnett? Shut up, you lesbo whores. Naruto just sighs at sheer loudness of his sisters yelling, and when he looks back at the game, he sees his machine get totally destroyed by the final boss. Naruto sighs again and decides to find his sister quickly before her yelling can cause any more damage, of course more mental damage than physical. The two women were sitting in formal positions as the two siblings were glaring at them, though Naruto's face was blank in anger. So you guys passed out from drinking too much last night, is that correct? Naruto asks after calming down his sister enough so she would stop yelling. Finally. Yes, thanks for keeping a cool head, Naruto. Kate says with relief in her voice. Cynthia nods as she smiles at Naruto. Yeah, Kate really can't handle her alcohol. But even if you are friends with each other, isn't it a little weird that you sleep naked next to each other? Arnett raises her argument. Hey, it's fine. We lived in the same dorms together for 4 years. She yells at the red-haired 14-year-old. That's right, we've known each other for a long time. Cynthia responds with a cheery tone. I knew it. You two are total lesbos, aren't you? Arnett accuses the two women again who protest this. We're not, trust us. I've even got a boyfriend. Cynthia childishly whines. Hey, so do I. Kate shows the siblings a photo of her and Cynthia with two good-looking boys around their age. Arnett, still holding the picture, nods and says, wow, you really do have a boyfriend, or is he your little brother? I think we should be the ones asking that. Cynthia replies as her friend sighs at the sentence. Naruto gives back the photo and smiles at his sister. Yeah, they look like they are nice guys. Anyway sis, leave them alone. They're good guys or girls. He tells Arnett, who just continues to clean the room. Oh, by the way Arnett, he heard that you have an 80% compatibility for stigmata, right? Cynthia asks out of curiosity. Oh yeah, nice job you little brat. Kate compliments while insulting the teen girl at the same time. Yeah? Well, it ain't got anything to do with me, as Naruto and I are going to take over dad's business in the near future. Arnett tells them both with determination. Kate is shocked at her answer as Cynthia asks, but why? Being chosen as a Pandora is a huge honor. Naruto watches the scene unfold and really hopes Arnett's anger buttons won't get pressed. His sister just sighs, cause, I don't like the whole chosen feeling. I'd feel like I'm some sort of stuck-up jerky, mean a lot of the prissy girls are Pandora. She then starts heading for the door. Anyway, if you two ever have daughters and they become Pandora, then it's more power to you, I guess. But like I said, I have no interest in becoming a Pandora. She leaves the room and Naruto follows after her. Hey, sis, I'm not one to talk about making choices in life, but not all Pandoras are going to be acid. I mean, come on Theresu, if I ever meet any Pandora who don't act as you describe them, I'll let you know. Arnett giggles as she dumps the sheets at the laundry room. Sure you will. Let's go get some breakfast and then go home. Dad told us we can have anything we want to eat. At hearing this, Naruto yells out in happiness, Raymond, here I come. Arnett just sweat drops at his insane fondness for that food. For the millionth time, it's just damn soup. After finishing his meal fast, Naruto tells his sister that he's going to help their father pack up for the road, but as he exits the hotel, he sees his father talking to a shady sort of man. Who is that man? Naruto wonders as he strains his hearing to as much as possible and tries to listen into what they are saying. After the shady man leaves, Smith comes by and looks at Keith. Wasn't that Joshi from the paparazzi gang? He asks Keith, who just stays quiet. What are you up to, Keith? Did you agree to a job for him? I thought you didn't do shady type of work. Keith sighs, I can't be picky if I want to make some money, right? He explains his main reason. All I got to do is make a little stop before we head back to New York. You don't have to worry anything. Naruto summons 10 of his knives and stuffs them into the inner pockets of his jacket. Can't afford to let those mafia members get the best of me or my family. He sees Arnett run up to him and embrace him into a tight hug. Whoa, what's the physical affection? He chuckles. No reason. She says as they hear their father calling them. Come on, it's time to go home. Arnett grabs her brother's hand and races towards the truck. As she waves goodbye to Smith, Naruto notices his grave look. The blonde places a hand to where his knives, the fangs, are kept and hopes that what he is feeling right now won't happen. Wait, Keith. Naruto looks up from his seat at Kate and Cynthia, who quickly run up to the truck. Did you say you were heading towards the port? Can you give us another ride, please? Kate begs. Cynthia gives Keith a sad look. We really don't want to be a bother to you guys, but we are very low on money. Keith gives them a serious look before he smiles and says, sure, hop on. Ugh, you two are leeches, I swear. I hope you know that you're sitting in the back. Arnett yells. Naruto and Arnett were sitting next to the women as she insisted on watching them for any suspicious behavior. Kate sighs, you know, this tough girl act won't get you any dates. Arnett just glares at the woman who raises her hands in defeat. Says the bimbo who takes pictures with her clients. Oh dear, here we go again. Naruto face palms. As the two girls were about to throttle each other, Cynthia and Naruto quickly hold them back. Keith gains a small smile while looking at the scene, but it quickly fades away when he notices a black sedan closing in on them fast. When the car drives up right behind the truck, a man from the front passenger seat pulls out a pistol, shoots at Keith's rear mirror. Stop the truck. Unless you want us to turn you into Swiss cheese. Arnett quickly becomes frightened and looks at Keith. Papa, what's going on? Keith looks back as he yells, everyone just get down. The truck is thick, bullets won't get through. The sedan drives next to the side of the truck and shoots more bullets at Keith, who lucky, leans down to avoid them. I told you to stop. You wanna die? Naruto growls as he pulls his fang knives. Well, screw you guys too. He stands up and throws one of his knives at the gunman's hand, making the said person release the gun. My hand. Naruto smirks as he makes sure the knife disperses into pieces upon contact. Kate's eyes went wide at seeing how accurately Naruto had thrown his knife. Dude, nice shot. She crudely says. The two watch as the black sedan slows down and Keith makes the truck go faster, creating a big stretch of distance. Naruto's eyes suddenly widen in horror when he sees another man from the back seat aim an RPG rocket launcher at them. Dad. Get us the hell out of here. The man aims and shoots the rocket at the group. Naruto grabs Cynthia's hands. We're. Naruto, acting quickly, takes another fang. Get down. He yells as he throws his Volt weapon. The knife hits the rocket halfway between the two vehicles. As expected, it exploded and the sedan that was still driving forward was flung back. Keith smiles at his son for getting rid of the mafia, but then quickly steps on the brakes and stops the truck. Why? Because two giant trucks are blocking the road. Naruto frowns as he gets out of his father's smaller truck. Arnett, Staith Ariel, handle this. He says and starts walking towards the roadblock. Cynthia looks at the boy with shock clearly written on her face when she heard his announcement. Wait, what are you going to do? Kate also looks at the boy with equal amount of disturbance. You're not actually going to take all of those thugs by yourself? She yells. Arnett simply touches their shoulders. Don't worry, just watch. Kate glares at her. What are you saying? He's going to get himself killed. Kate. Look. Cynthia grabs her friend's head and snaps it to the direction she was looking at. When Naruto reaches the two trucks, he quickly gets surrounded by at least 48 thugs. He smiles at this as he clenches his fists tightly and cracks his neck a little. He looks at the gathered goons and simply says, all right gentlemen. Who goes first? The grunts of the mafia didn't make move for a moment, but then three members, armed with simple machetes, rush at Naruto from his blind side. Reacting with lightning speed, Naruto jumps in the air and delivers a powerful roundhouse kick to their heads. The three grunts didn't have enough time put up their guard or even blink as their heads collided with Naruto's foot and then it all goes dark. Naruto watches at how the three knocked out grunts fall to the ground and says seriously, three. Come all at once. With nothing but rage in their eyes, all the members attack at once, but Naruto quickly jumps over one of them. While in midair, he grabs the grunt's shoulders and as he descends to the ground, with great force, he throws the mafia goon at two others in front of him. Needless to say, none of them will be getting up from the collision. Naruto's hand then shots out and grabs arm of another grunt who tried to stab Naruto with a knife. He breaks the said arm and before the grunt can scream out, Naruto throws him over his shoulder at four other thugs behind him. Cynthia and Kate stare with wide eyes and slack jaws as they witness Naruto's incredible fighting abilities. Arnett smiles at them despite the situation. Naruto was always training himself to protect us from harm. He even started a martial arts club at school so he can have more time to train. Not once I have seen my little brother lose to anyone or even got a scratch on himself. Keith sighs at seeing how his son is protecting them. He knows he will get an earful for taking up a dangerous job from the mafia, but it's much better to get yelled at than to lose any members of this family. He then looks to his side and sees a black van drive straight towards his truck. God damn it. Kate notices the van as well and quickly grabs Keith while her gentle friend grabs Arnett. Hold on. They jump off the truck as the van busts it off the road. Naruto snarls at seeing this. He delivers a punch so powerful that the receiver of it loses all his frontal teeth, gets his nose broken and bleeds from the face like a fountain. Naruto's eyes twitch violently. Now you seriously made me angry. Pray to all gods above cause I will show you no mercy. Arnett pales as she knows what's going to happen next. Dear merciful God, please let your children have swift merciful deaths. Naruto suddenly grabs the man's in front of him neck and throws him in the air. Quickly jumping after him, Naruto unleashes a high kick to the male's genitals and with the addition of gravity because of the falling it hurt a lot. Arnett cringes at the sight. Oh, I know I'm a girl, but I can feel that person's pain from here. Before Naruto can deliver more brutal punishment, a man dressed in a fancy suit steps out of the black van. He gives Naruto a sickening beepy smile and starts clapping slowly. Well, I never thought I would see a brat beat down most of my men. But Naruto sees the last standing grunt out of the 48, pull out a gun. My status as a leader won't be tarnished by a single brat. Naruto prepares himself to dodge any incoming bullets, but the grunt points the gun at someone else. Bang. Papa. Arnett cries as Kate holds her in place. Keith's shoulder was shot. Naruto eyes widen in anger as he breaks the shooter's both arms. Old man. Arg. Before Naruto can break any more limbs, he gets shot in the leg by one of the goon lying on the ground. Damn it. The wound causes Naruto to fall to his knee, but he still manages to grab a machete that was on the ground beside him. He throws it at the laying shooter's hand, slicing it cleanly off. The mafia boss chuckles, not so invincible now huh? Well, after I kill you and your dad, I'll make sure to have some fun with your little sister for all the trouble you caused. Naruto glares at the man with intense hate but is surprised when the mafia boss is forcefully thrown to the ground. From the sudden pain the man screams in fright. Stop. Or else he beeps the gun and is about to aim it at Keith but was unable to pull the trigger when Cynthia grabs the gun and breaks it with her bare hand. The man yells in pain when Cynthia breaks his arm with a single snap. You bitch. Ugh. What the hell are you? Cynthia smiles as she spoke. USA Pandora agent Cynthia and now. You're knockout. She proceeds to spin kick the man into unconsciousness. She then turns and smiles at Naruto who sighs in relief was so glad he made his family pick up these girls a few days ago. He is also extremely grateful to his insane Uzumaki lucky streak. Naruto is getting his gunshot wound patched up by the doctor that arrived not long ago. Thankfully he was able to suppress his regeneration through sheer will. He wouldn't want to arouse any suspicion on why his wounds heal so quickly. He sighs as the doctor finishes applying the final bandage and he can finally let the full force of his regeneration kick in. He was glad that the bullet went straight through his leg or he would have had a much harder time healing it. Play Suzuka Ost. Main theme. Naruto sees Arnett come up to him as just she finished her conversation with the two secret Pandora. Yo, you alright? He asks Arnett as she sits next to him. She nods and looks at her brother's wounded leg. Naruto. I'm going to become a Pandora. Though happy here that his big sister finally found her resolution. What changed your mind? He asks while trying to get up from the stupid stretcher that doctors had put him on. Arnett gently makes him lay back. So in the future I can save someone else's papand. So you won't get hurt ever again. She says quietly. Naruto gently smiles back at her. This girl practically has every aspect of true Uzumaki. Loyalty, kindness, guts and stubbornness. Naruto reaches for his sister's head and gently leans her close to his chest. You silly girl, choose the path that you think is right and remember that no matter what I will always be by your side. Arnett wraps her arms around him and buries her face in his chest. I'm going away for 4 years. I'm going away tomorrow. Dad and the two women told me that they can drop me off at West Genetics Academy. Naruto nods sluggishly. Strange, why are his movements so? Oh god damn it. He remembers how the doctor gave him a high dose of morphine to dull the pain. He begins to fight the drug in his body, but its effects have already spread too much. Me and the old man will be fine and don't worry. I'll write to you every day. Also remember to never pick fights with your future comrades, never cry in front of your enemies, and most of all remember that me and the old man love you very much. He says those final words quietly as he finally loses the battle against the drug. Arnett nods as she knows Naruto is asleep now and gently runs her hand through his hair. I promise that I'll make you both proud. Vanguard. Naruto yells while training in the middle of the forest. A mounted shield materializes on his left arm and a longsword in his right hand. He jumps high in the air and from top to bottom, starts slicing a tree in front of him into pieces. Upon reaching the ground, he sees that only the trunk of the tree is remaining. Not bad, but I still need to increase my speed and aim. It's been a full year since Arnett left and things have been quite dull without her around. Keith was learning more about long-distance delivery business and managed to expand his small company so much that he was able to hire workers to do the deliveries for him. Right now the income was great, so he and Naruto don't have to go out as often to other states or countries. But they still take a delivery trip once in a while, mostly for some excitement of the road. Naruto smiles at their recent luck. Thanks to it, they won't ever have to deal with the mafia again. Speaking of mafia, for a good half of the year, Naruto couldn't leave the house without having to fear of reporters swarming over him for some questions. They mostly wanted to know how he was able to defeat over 50 goons with his bare hands. This wouldn't have happened if wasn't for the two hitchhiker Pandora, Cynthia and Kate. When they were questioned by the police and news reporters about the event, they just couldn't keep their mouths shut. They seriously blew everything out of proportions, describing how Naruto was moving at the speeds of light and dropping goons like flies. Well, he did drop them like flies, but he doesn't remember moving at such ridiculous speeds. The boy decides to take a small, so he sits on the ground and closes his eyes until they shot wide open again. Oh crap. I forgot to mail the letter. Naruto has kept his promise to Arnett about mailing her every day. Apparently she's doing well and has made some good friends at her training squad. After getting the document singed and bunch of other legal nonsense, she had to report for standard training at boot camp before going to the main academy. Naruto smiles as he places his letter in the outgoing mail and went back to his house. He was currently alone as Keith had to make an important delivery to a nearby town. But Naruto didn't mind that as the exams are coming up, so he is forced to stay and study anyway. The former Jinchuriki let his mind wander about his former life. He hopes that everyone is alright and that no war was plaguing elemental nations. He misses his team, the Konoha 11, his senseis, senpais, Killer Bee, and everyone else who are precious to him. But with Madara gone, he has a feeling that things back home are looking up, and besides he is happy with the new life he was given here. Though it does get lonely at times without his sister or father around, really grew to like his family presence. After laying down on the couch, Naruto decides to take a small nap and continue with his training later. He still has 2 more years to go before joining the academy. Meanwhile with Arnett. Okay, one more lap. Don't stop running until you're done. You can pass out after you reach the goal. A Pandora instructor yells at a squad of Pandora trainees. She sees the first cadet make it to the finish line, the last and 100th lap. First place Arnett McMillan. Nice job, best time since Aoi's time here. Arnett was currently wearing a white sports shirt with sports shorts. Why thank you very much. She kindly responds as her instructor gains a look of contemplation. Come to think of it, you have gotten first place for everything in the past week, huh? I'll let you use the points you got from training to buy anything you want in the stores here. The instructor kindly offers. Really sweet. Finally, I can eat all I want for free. Arnett gave an uncharacteristic squeal of joy. Screw makeup, purses, and other girly crap, she knows what she's getting. Food and lots of it. The instructor chuckles at her cadet, remembering that she was the youngest of the recruits and at times can be very energetic. In your dreams. Each snack and drink costs at least a single point, you got only 50 points. You also need an instructor with you. She deadpans. Arnett knew that the rest of the instructors hate her guts because she hung their washed laundry on flagpoles when one of them rather rudely insulted her brother. Well, it's a good thing I've got you then, Instructor Marith. You're way easier to talk to than all the other instructors. You're just making fun of me. HMPH, I'll admit that it's my 4th year of being an instructor and I never had anyone like you. Crazy good athletic abilities, bold attitude. You'll probably do just fine at the main schools. The experienced Pandora smiles at the young recruit. Arnett rubs her nose as she grins at her instructor. I knew I was right. The instructor gains a confused look. You act tough, but you're actually pretty nice. She told her honest opinion. Marith got a bit flustered after hearing Arnett's words. Don't change the subject. Listen up. Things are way harder at the main school and oi, shouldn't you check on the other girls' times cause second place is coming. Marith immediately used her axle turn to turn around and make sure that she didn't miss other recruits finishing the course unnecessary, but she couldn't let her reputation be tarnished. Second place, Dolly Parnell. Though not as amazing as Arnett, it's still great him. Parnell. I swear that I heard that name before. Could it be from the 25th generation? I'm positive that there was a Pandora with the same surname. A look of realization crossed her face before she quickly regains her calm composure. Good work, Fennel. You can rest until everyone else is finished with the laps. Okay. The girl simply waves it off without much emotion. Arnett stares at the girl with both interest and pity. That look Dolly has was the same one she had after the childhood event where she almost got raped by two thugs if it wasn't for Naruto's interference. Arnett was shell-shocked for months and was afraid of leaving her room for even longer. It's only thanks to Naruto and her father that she managed to get better and move past the tragic event. She can tell that girl was trying her best to stay strong. She was about to ask her what's wrong until she noticed something else. Holy moly guacamole. Incoming. Arnett yells as the rest of the cadets were coming. When they crossed the finish line, most of them started to hurl their breakfast and lunch, others passed out instantly, and only a few were conscious, but were barely standing on their feet. Okay, third place in that mess was Ariel Robinson. Marith told as she continues to list out the rest of the rankings. Emily third. But I trained so much. Ariel Robinson had creamy white skin with sunshine blonde hair. Ah, I wouldn't beat yourself over it. The first place's time was just nuts though. I believe the thought of sweets had a factor in it. She pointed at Arnett, who gave the V sign with her hand and a cheeky grin to her fellow comrade. Robinson nods, knowing Arnett was impossible to beat. Why the hell did she enjoy this kind training was unknown. She looks back at the instructor, so who nailed the second place? Second was Dolly Parnell. She said while calculating the times with past others to see if the recruit's speed and endurance were improving or not. Ariel glares at the girl who was looking at the horizon, trying not to make eye contact with anyone. Arnett started to hear some of the other cadets' voices speak out. Figures she run like her life depended on it. If Naruto was here, he would immediately suspect something deep going on after hearing those words, but sadly Arnett doesn't have her cute younger brother's detection prowess. However, she knows that something was up and she does not like it one bit. Alright, break time's over. Everyone get up. Marith yells at the grunts who start whining and complaining about the sudden shift for lunch. This meant that they had to eat light for the next course of training. You have 2 minutes to change, and if you're late, no meals for the rest of the day. As Arnett walks with the rest of the girls back to barracks, she saw Dolly leave with a somber wake in her steps. With Naruto. The young blonde can be seen continuing to train even if it already was past midnight judgment. He summons his bow staff and breaks some thick tree branches with deadly precision. He then slams one end to the ground, causing a spiderweb-like crack to appear from the sheer force alone. He then allows his staff to disappear and materializes steel gauntlets on his hands and steel boots on his feet. Destroyer. He calls out and throws all of his strength and weight at the thickest tree nearby. His powerful punch goes straight through the poor thing and creates a hole at the size of a bowling ball. The Naruto was dead tired as he fell to his knees. Rapid switching was draining on his person. Normally 2 or 3 was fine, but 4 or more is pushing it too much. His energy burns faster than he can recover it. He'll admit that Tenten was pretty tenacious for learning more than 100 of different fighting styles with weapons. I'm definitely improving, but there is only so much I can learn by myself. Naruto frowns. For now, physical training and mastering my fighting styles is all I can do. After finishing mulling over his thoughts, he tries to standing up, but it appears that his muscles don't agree with his actions. Ow ow ow, damn it hurts. Even with the increased regeneration, it still takes a while to recover from injuries or strained muscles. I wonder if Arnett is in a similar predicament right now. Heard that those Pandora boot camps are pretty brutal. After allowing his body to recover enough for some simple walking, Naruto gets up, walks up to his backpack that was placed near a small lake. Naruto was really glad for this watery wonder, as nothing feels better than a late night swim after a hard day of training. Fishing out a first aid kit out of the backpack, he unzips it and takes out a bottle of ointment meant to be applied on sore spots of the body. After applying some of it, he walks over to the lake to wash up a little bit. He cleans his hands first and then splashes his face several times. After drying himself off with a towel, he looks at his reflection on the watery surface and gasps at what he sees. Wah, my eye, it's… With Arnett. The red-haired girl opens one eye and smiles. It was time. Ariel. Wake up. Or I swear I'll slap you silly. Arnett promises as she wakes her fellow cadet Robinson, who sits up drowsily and a bit frustrated. And Red McMillan. What is it? Arnett smirks and snickers as she shows her 3 chocolate bars. Check it out. Handy. Where did you get it? The blonde whispers loudly as Arnett's snickering got a bit more louder. Ah, it was my reward for being in the first place, and these are not the only ones I have. She takes off a flash piece of the wall to show a box filled with cookies, chocolates and other sweets. I begged Marith to buy these from outside, in exchange for that I won't tell the others instructors about it. There should be enough for everyone, right? I figured that we all deserve some comfort food after a hard day of training. Want to help me wake everyone else up so we can have fun? Ariel sighs, look, we're not going to have a party. What if we get caught and… Okay, it's fine, you don't want any of it. Hey Viola, you awake? Arnett went to her new target as Ariel quickly regrets her decision. Wait. I didn't say I didn't want it. As Arnett and the rest of cadets ate her snacks, Ariel looks at the redhead who was guzzling down a chilled cola. Thank you for the food, Arnett. We owe you one. The sister of the former shinobi shrugs. Ah, don't mention it. I just wished I had a bit more points for some peasant ramen. She really misses her little brother. This is the longest time she's been away from him. She did have a small group of friends of course, but Naruto was her only true best friend. She never was the most delicate girl or the girlish type, but she didn't care about any of that. Arnett is who she is. But Naruto always made her go clothes shopping, give out advices, and even protected her from bullies when they were younger. Funny how she told him she would protect him, and yet, Naruto was the one doing the job. While continuing to stuff herself with sweets, she looks at Dolly who was still sleeping. Hey, can somebody wake her up? Some of the girls shifted uncomfortably when they heard the request. Arnicha's tired, let her rest. Oh, don't say that. No matter how tired she is, I'm sure she'll come flying right out of the bed. She said optimistically. However, Ariel grabs her wrist and gains a dark serious look. Arnett, listen, that girl is from the Parnell family. I didn't want to tell you this until we went to West Genetics, but since you're not familiar with the way upper-class society works, I'll tell you. She grabs a piece of Pocky and eats it slowly, trying to find the best words to explain the situation. Alright, I'm not saying this to be mean, but in this platoon everyone besides you comes from a rich family. Arnett's calm face becomes slightly angered. Yeah, I know your families are rich and fancy, but what's that got to do with ignoring Dolly? Because she is from a family of cowardly traitor. Ariel spat out. Traitor? Arnett whispers to herself. Okay, what did her family do that pissed you guys off? You heard about the 8th Nova clash 2 years ago? Robinson asks and Arnett nods. Yeah, the one where Aoikazu had died, right. Naruto and her found about it from the radio when making a delivery to Japan. Naruto didn't speak at all during the whole broadcast, worrying her and Keith a great deal. Yes, that's the one. All of the 25th generation Pandora platoons were there, but one coward fled from the battlefield, which ultimately caused her platoon to be annihilated. That person is Dolly's older sister, Sully Parnell. She was the coward that ran away. Arnett was shocked that the hard-working Dolly had a family member who ran away from combat. Many of us here had relatives in that particular platoon. We lost family that day, hence we have no intention of getting along with her. Not with the little sister of a traitor who left her allies to die. She openly glares at Dolly with most of the others too. Arnett was horrified by that statement. Whoa, guys. She doesn't have anything to do with it. That's mess up. She never liked how the strong oppressed the weak. If Naruto was here, he would have yelled at them for this type of bullying. Not that it matters. Arnett, you told us that you volunteered to join from a regular family, right? Aside from the origins and background you come from, I respect you for who you are. You're a talented individual and you care for your comrades. So I ask you, please do not get involved with Dolly Parnell. It will keep the unity of platoon number 3 strong. And I'm sure Dolly would agree. Arnett didn't say anything. She couldn't get over this perverse way of getting revenge. While the girls are trying to brighten up the mood, she wonders what her little sibling would do in this type of situation. 1 month later. Arnett was wearing a dress that she last wore when her father and brother brought her here. She was standing alone while many of her platoon members sneering at her as they passed by. Today was family visit day since training camp graduation was closing in and the future Pandoras were allowed to meet their loved ones. But she wasn't having the greatest day so far. She was helping out Dolly from bullying by catching on her platoon's actions and intervening as much as possible. Because of it, the rest of the girls cast her off like a diseased rat. She really wanted to meet her family as she knew that West Genetics was even further away from her home. She got her daily letter from her brother, promising that he'll come to visit along with their old man. She sighs as she wants to talk to her best friend that she hasn't seen for a full year. Will he be the same person or totally different? She doesn't know. Sure, it has only been a year, but that kid has been the most unpredictable person she ever knew of. Who knows what he's been up to during the entire year. She tugs her dress a little, it's a bit tight at the chest area. She walks up to a puddle of water and looks at her reflection. Her hair was a bit longer now, her curves had developed very well, and finally her lips and face were more cute and bewitching to look upon. She never thought a year of training could bring such changes to her appearance. She was about to go to the meeting area where the rest of her platoon was at until Dolly approaches her, Arnett. Arnett grins at her, "Ha, I knew you would approach me one day. You were hard to crack though." She joked. "Please, don't take pity on me. I appreciate the gesture, but you're now all alone because of it, just apologize to them and stop trying to help me," Dolly says sadly. Arnett shook her head and responds, "No way, it's simply unfair for them to treat you like this." She tells her honest opinion. "Of course you would think like that." The two girls turn to see Ariel and the rest of the platoon glaring at them. Lower class families don't think of how upper class ones feel about this. If you were in our shoes you'd understand, but then again, besides you, the rest of your family must be worthless as well. What was okay, I put up with all the bullying you gave me and Dolly for a while, now it was no problem as I can take it, but no one, and I mean no one, insults my family and gets away with it. I'll make sure that you are as dead as a doornail." Arnett raises her fist and is about to punch Ariel, but something gently covers her hand, and then that gentle something is placed on her shoulder. She turns to see a tall blonde-haired man smiling brightly at her, Naruto. The man proved to be indeed her brother after nodding to her question, "Hey sis, didn't I say no fighting your future comrades?" He chuckles as Arnett and the rest of the girls look over Naruto. His hair grew out almost past his shoulders, so he tied it in a low ponytail that was equal to that of Itachi's and let some of the front hair cover the right half of his face. He wore a black button-up shirt, black jeans and black dress shoes. From appearance alone, he really looked like he was a well-mannered gentleman. "Perhaps you could explain in detail what exactly is going here?" he inquires. Arnett began to tell him everything that happened without being interrupted by the others until the part where he arrived came. Naruto closed his eyes for a few moments before opening them with actually Arnett cannot tell what it was that she saw in them. I don't know how the upper class life works, but what I do know is that you cannot bully a person because of someone else's actions." Ariel didn't accept his words very well, but because of Sally Parnell's actions many people died that day. She is coward who only ever thought about her own well-being. So? Those Pandora had made their choice to stay and fight. It may not have occurred to you that despite having their bodies enhanced by stigmata they were still humans, and like all humans they had fears. Sully was simply afraid of death, she doubted her abilities, and those doubts fueled her fear to the point where it caused her to run away. But it was her duty as a Pandora to stay and fight. Because of her fear the entire platoon was annihilated. She doesn't understand the pain we are feeling inside for losing our precious family members. One girl shouts out from the crowd. "I believe that's where you are wrong. No one ever walks away from such an event without feeling any guilt at all. Hell, I bet that even right now she could suffering from the guilt of knowing that her actions might have caused her comrade's death." He shot back as Arnett and Dolly were amazed how he stood his ground, almost like an instructor. Another girl asks with a confused voice, "Might have." Naruto nods as he crosses his arms, there never really is one deciding factor in battle. There was no guarantee that even if Selly did stay and fight, they would have survived the battle. She wasn't a one-man army despite how much training she had received. He leans on Toma tree as he sees a young woman in her mid-20s come out of hiding from behind another tree. "In fact, why don't you ask her herself about it?" Ollie gasps as she knew who the young woman was. "Sister. What are you doing here?" Appearance-wise, Selly looked like an older Dolly with much more matured looks. "My car broke down, and Naruto here offered me a ride. After we arrived, we continued to chat until we came upon this." She looks at the group of cadets who were openly glaring at her with huge amounts of anger. "Before you all start yelling you should know that Naruto is right. Despite the years that have passed since that day I still see the images of my comrades dying in front of me and have nightmares almost every night about them, screaming you know that what I have done was unforgivable and can never be taken back, so if it will give you some peace of mind, I am willing to take any punishment that you want to give me." Some of the girls from the group started look unsure of themselves after learning of the emotional and psychological pain Selly is going through, but many still held various levels of hostility. Before they can answer, they are interrupted by Naruto's coughing noise. "Before you give your verdict, there is something else I want to tell all of you." After making sure that everyone was listening he continues, "I once met a woman a long time ago. She told me that people are naturally born weak, but if we support and care for one another we can become incredibly strong. She also told that no matter how strong someone might appear to be, they still have weaknesses, like for instance, I'm afraid of ghosts." He chuckles and almost all of the girls couldn't help but chuckle with him. Arnett barely contained her own giggles. Oh, how much fun she had during Halloweens. Seeing her brother scared shitless was really worth dressing up as a ghost. After the short happy moment passed, Ariel and the rest of the girls with exception of Selly, Arnett and Dolly gathered into one bundle and started to talk among themselves about what should they do. After a long and furious debate, the bundle has broken up and Ariel stepped up with a neutral expression on her face. Selly held in her breath as she waited for the verdict. Ariel, after taking a moment to find the right words, looks straight into Selly's eyes and begins to speak. Selly Parnell, despite everything that was revealed to us, and after having a long and deep discussion, we still cannot forgive you for what happened. Selly looks down resignation after hearing this, but is surprised when she feels Ariel take both her hands into her own. She looks up and sees Ariel gently smiling at her. What I meant to say is that we cannot forgive you just yet. The pain of losing many of our close relatives is still deep, but we no longer hate you or Dolly. We realize that our cruel actions and hatred were unjustified. She takes in a deep breath and continues, it never crossed our minds that you might be suffering on the inside just like us, maybe even more. Because of our neglect at this, we took out our anger and sadness at Dolly, even if she wasn't to blame at all. We will stop our bullying from now on and hope that perhaps in the near future we will be able to call you and Dolly dear friends. Ariel said those final words while looking down. After few moments of silence pass, she is surprised to see teardrops falling on the ground. She looks up to see Selly crying and at the same time have a smile full of joy. Thank you for this. Just knowing that I have a chance at gaining your forgiveness and no longer having to fear for my sister's well-being at the academy is more than I can ever ask for. I thank you from the bottom of my heart and I promise that I will make it up to all of you somehow. Then without wasting another moment, she hugs Ariel tightly while continuing to cry loudly. The said girl, instead of shying away, returns the hug. All of the girls from platoon number 3 were smiling at the scene, including Arnett. Dolly also was smiling with few tears running down her cheeks. Finally it was over. Finally her sister will able to find some peace in life. As for Naruto, he can be seen muttering something silently to himself. Good, a close ally will always be a force to be reckoned with in team. He smiles at his words while remembering how he and Sasuke had forgiven one another during their battle with Madara. He then notices Selly and Dolly walking towards him. Hey there, need something from me? He asks casually. We just wanted to thank you for helping us. The older sister says while moving a bit closer to him. Do not worry about it. I only spoke the truth. He stated honestly. It was always nice to help out good people like them. Selly shook her head, but still it was your words and reasoning that made them listen and gave us a chance to redeem ourselves. She smiles huskily at him as did Dolly. I'm sure there are ways in how we can repay you. Naruto can clearly see them blushing bright red while their eyes reflected a deep want for something, but for the life of him, he couldn't figure out what it is or even understand the meaning behind her words. He was broken out of his thoughts when he hears Arnett yelling at their direction. No way in hell. Stop staring at my brother, you pedophile. She yells at Selly, who took offense at rude comment. Who are you calling pedophile? Just because you helped out my sister doesn't mean that I won't hesitate in teaching you some manners. She shouted as Dolly got ready to join the tussle as well. Bring it on. Arnett retorts and was jumped by both of the sisters. Naruto sweat drops at the comical dust cloud that appeared as the three girls were punching and or kicking one another. Okay girls, break it up. No need to resort to violence. He tries to be the peacemaker, but it doesn't seem to work. He is about to do it again when he suddenly feels someone place their hands on his shoulders and turn him around. It appears that this someone is Ariel with the rest of the platoon members behind her. We would also like to thank you for opening our eyes. Perhaps you would be willing to go to our cabin. We would prepare some special lunch just for you. She offers him, and all of the girls along with herself have the same want in their eyes as the two sisters had from before them. Before he can answer, Arnett jumps in between them and glares angrily at Ariel. Oh no you don't. Naruto is off limits. Especially to spoiled rich brats like you. She shouts angrily with the two Parnell sisters nodding behind her. Ariel and the rest of the girls gain tick marks on their heads at hearing this. So we're spoiled brats, aren't we? We'll make you eat those words. And with that announcement an even bigger dust cloud appeared as all of the girls start fighting. I'm going to use the bathroom, you guys keep doing whatever is that you're doing. Naruto says lamely and leaves. As he made it to the nearest restroom, he went to the mirror and lifted the hair off his face. That was close. He saw that his right eye color wasn't its usual blue or even looked human at all. It was the same eye as the Nova woman who gave him his powers had. It shined in an eerie gold color as the eye started to shake violently before slowly turning back to normal. It's getting easier to do. My weapons training is almost complete, so it means I will need to find a way to learn high-end skills that Pandora use when I enter West Genetics. But how? Atlanta, Georgia. A male with shaggy brown hair and glasses builds a Gundam toy. Zaku 2-Char custom is done. He smiles. Before going to his laptop and hacks into a pizza joint website. Hey, Emma. I'm ordering a few pizzas. What do you want? He yells. A 12-year-old girl walks into the room and looks at him, get some extra cheesy pepperoni. Oh, and Naruto should get ready for school tomorrow. Exams are coming up soon. With that said, she left the room as Nero types away until his glasses reflect something interesting. Pandora. Huh. Naruto was running late for school again. Usually he relied on Arnett to wake him up, but since Arnett finished the Pandora bootcamp and is now attending West Genetics, he has to use alarm clocks for that, and it's not really working out. He already lost count on how many alarm clocks he had smashed, just so he could get a few more minutes of sleep. Okay, it's an half of hour of sleep, but he can't help it. Training at nights does tire out a person. Naruto was currently riding a skateboard as he races towards his high school, just 2 more years until I can help her. Naruto could skip his years again like he did back at elementary and middle school, but they were watching, and by they he means the Chevalier. The journalists might be losing interest in him after he refused to do interviews about the Mafia incident and evaded them for quite some time, but the Chevalier didn't. The organization is always looking for talented individuals, both Pandora and limiters. At the moment they have their sights set on him. After 1 month passed since the Mafia incident, Naruto was approached by 2 high-ranked Chevalier Pandora who offered an opportunity to enroll on a special limiter training program. He was promised many benefits for both him and his family, but he refused. He never really liked organizations that have too much power on their hands, and if he had accepted, who knows what this special training program would consist of. For all he knew, it could have been a ruse to get him on an operating table and dissect him. There was also a chance that he would have been transferred to a different genetics academy from the one he wants to apply and away from Arnett. He can't have that. The boy is now only few corners away from his school. Sweet, I'm actually going to be on time for school. Naruto cheers in happiness as he jumps over a fence with his skateboard, only to see a strange boy riding a bicycle. AWWW, god damn it. The bicycle driver sees the blonde boy coming at him fast. With Arnett. The redeemed female Macmillan was standing with a bunch of other girls naked with only towels covering their bodies. Dolly comes up to her while sighing. Hey, she dejectedly said to her friend. Arnett smiles, trying to cheer her up. How was it? Dolly sighs again. I am class BA. The Arnett pats her friend on the shoulder. There. Hey, at least you're above average. She smiles and Dolly perked up after hearing that. Not too long ago the 2 girls were in a bit of trouble. It happened a few weeks ago. There was a heavy rainstorm and the whole training camp and the village not far from it was in danger of getting struck by a landslide. Most of the Pandora and training was panicking while instructor Marith tried to maintain control over the camp. Arnett herself was shocked by the sudden natural disaster, but it only lasted for a moment before she recomposed herself. Doing those relaxation practices with Naruto really paid off. She told Dolly to help Marith in organizing the panicking Pandora, while she herself rushed off to contact the HQ about the situation. The main base told her that help is already on its way, but they received reports that a landslide is heading their way. Arnett told them to hurry up with the backup and quickly went to inform Marith of the incoming danger. She reached her instructor in time as she was organizing the Pandora and building up a small dam to hopefully prevent or redirect a possible landslide. After relaying the information, Marith ordered the Pandora to stop what they were doing and move to the side. They did that just in time as big landslide struck their previous position. While the Pandora were safe, the landslide caused the rivers that was near their training camp water levels to rise at an alarming rate. The village not too far from them was in danger of getting flooded. Marith instructed them to drag big trees that were torn out by the landslide to the river in hopes of this time managing to build a temporary dam. With the many combined Pandora efforts they succeeded in their task and the water flow was slowed down. But Arnett knew it wouldn't hold for long and there was the danger of another landslide happening again. It was their luck that the HQ backup arrived in time. They told the Pandora to evacuate the area and that they don't have to worry about the village as its citizens were being evacuated as they speak. The Pandora were rushed into heavy-duty helicopters in time as another landslide struck just as the last helicopter took off. Later that day the Pandora were congratulated for their brave attempts in saving the village. Instructor Marith even got a salary raise for her outstanding performance during the crises. It was really in their luck that they managed to survive this whole ordeal. For some strange reason Arnett thinks that this luck is somehow connected to Naruto. DM87, Atcha Simmons. 65% compatibility, 2 stigmata. Verdict. Class A robotic voice came from behind Arnett. She turns to see her cheeks puffed up from trying not to laugh her ass off. There stood a loli girl, she knows about the term thanks to some of her friends telling her about Japanese stereotypes, with silverish white hair that was braided into 2 pigtails that looked like drills. I 65% and 2 stigmata, I guess that'll be fine. I thought that I was a bit off today. The loli says arrogantly. Ah, now I hate her. Arnett thought as she was next to go. Naruto, if you're listening then please let borrow some of your luck right now. DM 436, Arnett Macmillan. After hearing the AI call out her name, she walks towards the stigmata compatibility testing device as her platoon including Ariel and Dolly start cheering for her. 80% compatibility. Verdict. Class SA. But Naruto. What hit me? The blonde boy asked before noticing someone below him. Technically Naruto was sitting on him. His skateboard was snapped into two from the collision and his last chance to get on time for school was gone. Excuse me for interrupting your thoughts but would you kindly get off me? The boy under him asks politely. Naruto quickly does that. Shit. Really sorry about this. Here. He apologizes as he helps the boy up. When the boy was finally on his feet, Naruto takes a good look at him. The boy wore a white, somewhat dirty lab coat that had his school's insignia and brown rectangular glasses. Underneath the coat he wore a gray button-up shirt and brown jeans with a black belt. Combined with the Dr. Lab coat, glasses and shaggy shoulder-length brown hair, he kind of looked geeky. Ding dong. Naruto sighs as the school bell rang. My luck must have gone on vacation or something. His school is strict on the attendance and after the school bell rings, the school gates are locked and students that are late cannot enter. The school faculty believes that punctuality is an important virtue and they are trying to instill it into other students. He looks at the geek to see he was looking at his bicycle. Guess he should make it up to the kids somehow since he was the one at fault after all. Hey, it seems that school won't let us in now, so how about I buy you some breakfast as an apology? The geeky boy seems to consider the offer for a moment before nodding. Alright, but can we go somewhere that has Wi-Fi? I need to check up on some things. Sure. Naruto answered, by the way, sorry about the bicycle, looks like it got dent from the impact. And that was the truth. The bicycle's frame and rims were bent pretty badly, and the brakes are bust. Naruto promises to himself to pay for the boy's repair bills as well. The boy simply smiles and says, don't worry, I was thinking of buying a new one anyway. This one was getting old and was on its last tires. Come on, I skipped my morning meal today so would love to eat some omelette. Naruto smiles back at him but then suddenly realizes something. Hey, I almost forgot to ask for your name, mine's Naruto Macmillan by the way. Oh, it's Nero Knight. With Arnett. Arnett was sitting in her room looking at a locket picture of her and Naruto before she left for the training camp. Then she glances at the other locket picture that had her, Naruto and the whole platoon number 3 Pandora in it. Her eyebrow twitches a little when she sees Instructor Marith basically hanging off Naruto's neck while trying to push her out of the way. Oh, how she wished to deliver one good punch to her instructor's face without the risk of being court-martialed. She takes in a few calming breaths and smiles gently with a bit of arrogance hidden in it. She can easily do something with Naruto that many other of her comrade Pandora can't, share emails between her and him daily. Well, Dolly would ask sometimes if she could also send her emails to him, and since Dolly is kinda of a good friend, she allows it even if she doesn't like it. It's only natural for a big sister to protect her little brother's chastity from hormones raging floozies. Arnett looks at the locket again. Naruto, just watch me, I'll be the one to protect you soon. I'm going to show everyone here that I'm the strongest. Hey, I'm back. Arnett turns around to see her roommate Creo Brand enters. She was a freshman just like her. Appearance-wise she was quite a petite girl with tanned skin, long white hair reaching down her back and blue eyes. She came up to Arnett while holding a bag of some sort. You're skipping dinner again? I didn't see you at the cafeteria. She asked her roommate to make sure that everything was alright. Arnett smiles at Creo. Originally she thought all of the Pandora, the rich ones anyway, were all stuck-up snotty girls who like throw around their status like it was a common thing. Well, she was right about some of them being that way, but the rest are just like her, simply became Pandora so they could protect their families. Heh, well, I just don't like eating in crowded places. Zero lightly throws the bag she was holding and it landed on Arnett's lap. I bought a midnight snack. You can take a couple if you want. Is that your boyfriend? Arnett immediately closed her locket and blushed from embarrassment. What? No. That's my little brother. Why would you even say that? Creo gives her a deadpan look. Well, maybe the fact he has blonde hair and blue eyes is unlike your red hair and green eyes kind of made me guess on that. Arnett sighs as her blush dies down. He's my adoptive brother. My father and I found him when he was just a baby and took him in. Creo nods in understanding. I see. Arnett then looks back at the bag on her lap and opens it to see what midnight snack was inside. It was this time Arnett who looked at her friend with a deadpan face. Seriously? A burger is snack for you? And there are like 8 of these here. Can you even eat this many? You've got a pretty shrimpy body after all. Creo scowls in mock anger. That's why I'm eating so many, I want to get bigger. Arnett smiles gratefully at her roommate. Anyway, thanks, Creo, she said as she took 3 burgers. She turns to see Zero changing into her pajamas. The dark-skinned girl looks back, "Hey, you're from Platoon 3 right?" Arnett slowly ate the free burger she was given with a satisfied look on her face. "Ah, nothing tastes better than free food." Yeah, I am." Zero takes the top bunk of the bed as looks at Arnett from above. "Heard of what happened during the last day of training? One heck of a way to finish training, huh, especially after the family visiting event." Arnett nods as up to this day she is still thanking all of her lucky starts for helping her and her comrades to survive that crisis. "Yeah, I'm glad my friends are safe. Those landslides were really big and would have most likely killed us all if we hadn't avoided them in time. From what I understand, the whole training area is now closed off." The white-haired girl spoke and afterwards frowned. "I guess Elizabeth was right." Arnett tilts her head in confusion. "What's wrong?" "Well, it's just that. My friend told me that one of her relatives was working at the village that was near your training camp. She said that this relative went to talk to the village's local sheriff and asked him about forest ranger whereabouts, as it is usually his job to inform everyone if the heavy rain is of any danger. The sheriff said that he went to check on the cabin where the ranger lived, and when he got there the place was trashed. The sheriff said how there were signs of struggle and the emergency radio station was smashed into pieces." Creo explains as Arnett frowns deeply and clenches her hands into fists. "And after the heavy rainstorm was over, the military began looking for the ranger, but he was never found. They suspect that someone might have attacked and killed him. The culprit or culprits smashed the radio and dumped the body in the forest. It's hard to say for sure of what happened to him as the landslide covered a good portion of the forest in mud, so finding the possible corpse is next to impossible." Arnett's eyes flash with anger as she grinds her teeth. "Are you saying that someone purposely killed that ranger so he could not inform the villagers and us of the heavy rainstorm's danger?" "I'm not saying that, I'm just telling you of what my friend has heard. It could have been that the ranger was simply attacked by a wild beast as there are plenty of them in the forest. The ranger could have been trying to fight it off and the ongoing struggle messed up the whole cabin. He then could have been killed at the end of the struggle and the beast simply dragged the body away as its meal." Arnett thinks over her friend's words and somewhat relaxes and she lays down on her bed. "I see, thanks for telling me this. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter now as the military backup still made it in time to save us in the village. Maybe in time something will come up and we'll know the truth of what happened soon enough." Arnett yawns and allows sleep to take her. Creo looks over her bunk's edge to see her roommate truly asleep. Heh, she's a funny girl. Even after hearing all this she still falls asleep so easily. I'm really looking forward in spending academy years with her. Just as Creo herself prepares to fall asleep, her eyebrows begin to twitch when she hears loud snoring coming from below. This is going to take some time getting used to. "But Naruto. WHMPR boom ping." Naruto asks with a mouth stuffed full of fries. Nero shook his head at the blonde in front him as he types away on his laptop after connecting himself to Burger Queen's local accessible Wi-Fi. "Could you please not speak with a mouth full of food? I don't understand what you're saying." Naruto quickly chews up his food and smiles. "I asked, what are you doing?" Nero sighed before smiling. He finishes typing and shows his laptop screen to Naruto. "I just made sure that we didn't get into trouble because of skipping school. If the teachers try to put a 0 grade on us, my program will stop it and trick the system into thinking that we were present at school and were given special permission to use the counselor's office to finish some tests." Naruto smiles as gave a thumbs up to his new friend. "Nero, that's amazing. I never knew you could do that." The geek scratches the back of his head in embarrassment. Thanks. Though it's actually pretty simple. The school's mainframe is almost like a half-closed door for hacking and I can go in and out whenever I want. However, I can't change my grades or play around with the system too much or someone will notice something wrong with it." I never thought it could be that easy," Naruto says. "It may sound easy to hack in, but the hard work comes when you have to erase your tracks. The school faculty does regular sweeps of their computer systems and if they find any traces of a break-in, they can use that to track down the culprit." Naruto nods in understanding. "So why haven't I seen you around the school?" Nero smiles as he ate his burger. "Oh, that's because already I completed the necessary courses for the year already. I could finish the school right now, but my sister says to wait for another year before going into a university. So now I only have to go school once or twice a week depending on the schedule assigned to me. I only have attended that day's classes as a formality and nothing else. It's nice how flexible are today's education programs for students who want to finish schooling early." Naruto slaps his forehead and scowls at his own stupidity. "Damn it, why didn't I bother to check on that? So much time wasted at school instead of doing something important." Nero picks up his tray and Naruto's to throw them in the garbage bin. "Hey, it might sound odd, but I heard from some of the people at school that your dad has left the city for a few days, so want to come over to my place. besides my sister I don't really have any friends. I often get bullied at school because of my so-called nerd looks and no one really wants socialize with me. You're the first person that actually talks to me normally without throwing insults, so could we be friends? He asked awkwardly. Naruto thought about it. He knew that his father approved of him leaving the house to hang out with friends. He doesn't really need protection, I mean come on, Naruto defeated the mafia goons all by himself, though it was a bit hard holding back against them. Plus, this guy seems to be okay and he's already helped out Naruto quite a lot, sure. Got nothing else planned to do anyways. Using a bus, it didn't take them long to reach Nero's house that had 3 floors. The building design was done in modern Western style, with some Eastern Japanese flair in it. The two boys walk together towards the house entrance, and Nero smiles at how Naruto is looking odd at his home, surprising isn't it? I admit that at first it looked kinda strange seeing such a mixture of designs, but after a while, I got used to it. My father had the house built that way in honor of our mother's Japanese ancestry. East, west, there is no place that surpasses home. The language Naruto just spoke was Japanese. Ironically, it was also the same language used back in elemental nations. After learning English, he learned that there are many other languages out there including different dialects, so he expanded his range of languages, knowing he might need them one day. He came to the conclusion that Naruto's parents were possibly from Japan, since he spoke perfectly fluent Japanese and had some few barely noticeable Asian features. He remembers that one time where they had to make a delivery to Japan and Keith accidentally got into a car accident. Naruto had talked their way out from getting into trouble with a powerful Yakuza family. Nero smiles, it's one of the Japanese sayings, right? I guess you'll feel right at home here. Naruto went in first, but just as he opens the door, his honed instincts kicked in and told him to drop to the ground. He looks back to see a big book hit Nero's face. Uchi. Uchi. Naruto sees the book fall to the ground and hears a feminine voice start yelling, Nero. Where were you? I was expecting a call from you 2 hours ago. Naruto stands up and looks at the girl. She had brown hair that was held together in bun by chopsticks. She had similar glasses to Nero. She also wore a pink t-shirt that had short black sleeves and black shorts. She picks up the book and scowls, next time I'll be sure to throw something much bigger at you. The geek stood up with a bruised nose and walks up to her, ow, that hurt Emma. Don't forget I'm easy to break. And don't use books as a weapon. Nero looks at Naruto with apologetic smile, sorry about this. Here, let me introduce you to my sister, Emma Knight Emmerich. Naruto nods and just as he is about to introduce himself, eep. Emma suddenly jumps back and hides behind a wall. She then peeks out a little from the corner and looks at Naruto with embarrassed and also slightly scared eyes. Nero chuckles, he almost forgot about that. Emma has a bit of social phobia and rarely interacts with anyone besides me. Don't worry, once she gets to know you better and see what kind of a person you are she will open up. Naruto nods in understanding and slowly and smiles gently at her to show her that he means no harm. Hey, the name is Naruto Macmillan. Don't be afraid, if it will make you feel any better you can throw that book at me. Naruto offers with a humorous voice. Emma chuckles lightly, barely above whisper, and then slowly walks out of the corner. She hesitates for a bit before calming down a little and lifts up her hand, my name is Emma. I hope we can be good friends. Naruto can clearly see how still uncomfortable the girl is, so he gently shakes her hand while giving her a reassuring smile. Of course, I'm always happy to make new friends. If you ever need any help just say the word and I'll be here at the speed of light. Naruto puffs out his chest proudly, which causes Emma to relax a little more and laugh lightly at his antics. Nero then walks up to Emma and starts talking to her about something. Naruto can't quite hear what they are saying, but quickly has to suppress his laughter when Emma whacks Nero on the head with the same book she hit him before. These guys are really funny. Looks like I made a good decision in befriending them. These two are a true family. Naruto then suddenly gains a deep look in his eyes. I hope you're okay, sister. With Arnett. The red-haired girl stood in the center of an old gymnasium. She closes her eyes and lifts her arms, now suddenly blue hexagons appear and join together to make a long double-headed scythe. The girl smiles with a both odd and proud face, my volt weapon, scythe machina. Now I can become strong. She looks at her locket and smiles brightly at the picture. I hope you're well, my brother. Naruto was walking alongside Nero as school was finally over. 7 months have passed since their meeting, and the two became good friends, good enough to talk at school and hang out afterwards. Nero was currently using his phone and frowns when his caller doesn't pick up, odd, he never misses a call. Naruto smiles as he tugs on his tie to loosen it, she's probably just making a cake for us or something. The male version of the Pandora tries to lessen his smart friend's worries. I guess. Sighs, I can't believe you dragged me out of my house to school to take those exams when I took them at home months ago. He yells comically. He sure doesn't like being outside very much, does he? Naruto thought as he was barely able to contain his laughs. He then smiled mischievously. If I suffer you suffer as well. The crew goes down with the ship. Nero face pales, you're an evil man but fine. So is your sister doing fine these days? The genius asks as he plays some games with his cell phone. Naruto nods, yeah, she is going to participate in some sort of Pandora competition called Carnival. Nero stops and looks at Naruto, Carnival. That's an odd name given to a competition. Naruto nodded in agreement, guess there won't be any rides or funnel cake huh? He joked lightly. I don't think so. I've read about some rumors from various forums that those events are kind of brutal, but what exactly happens there nobody knows. The Pandora had sworn to secrecy to never reveal of what happens during those events. Nero said to his strong friend who stops when they were about to open the door. What's wrong? Nero asked as Naruto looks at him. I don't know, just for some reason, the mention of that carnival sends me some seriously cold shivers. What the hell is happening during those so-called carnivals that Pandora are forbidden from talking about it? Naruto wonders with concern clearly heard in his voice. Now that the Pandora basic training is over, Arnett is finally being taught actual skills on how to combat Nova. It is clear that at the moment she is the strongest out of the siblings physically at least. What Naruto has advantage over her is his instincts, experience and the mindset of a veteran trained fighter. Arnett is still green and can make rookie mistakes or even worse, let her newly gained powers go over her head and become overconfident. He really hopes that the time he spent with her and his encouragements will help her go forth through harsh life challenges. He also really hopes that she will remember the most important thing when facing them, she is never alone. Nero looks at his friend's concerned face and places a hand on his shoulder. Don't worry, I'm sure everything is going to be fine. Now why don't we going inside and what the hell? Naruto stares in shock at the home of his close friend. It was almost completely trashed and ransacked, what happened here? Emma? Nero yells hysterically as he rushes inside to find his little sister. Emma, where are you? Naruto also starts looking for the shy, but sweet girl Emma. It's me and your brother, Nero. He stops as he sees a camera on the floor and the small red light coming from that indicates that it's recording, Nero. You might better get over here, the blonde Macmillan told his friend. The geek boy quickly came up and saw Naruto press the play button on the camera. Nero becomes greatly angered when he sees two men dressed in black suits holding Emma who's struggling to break free at the small video screen. Let me go. Emma yells. You better stop yelling or I swear I'm going to make you shut up. One of the goons shouts at her. Careful Mark. The boss wants her alive and unspoiled. The other goon speaks up. Suddenly a third man dressed in black suit comes up to Emma while holding a syringe. The men holding her apply more strength in their hold and force Emma to her knees. The man with the syringe quickly injects its contents into her neck. Then they let her go and to watch the girl fall to the ground unconscious. Bob, go and start the car and you Mark, carry her gently. We must get to the docks fast. The ship is leaving at midnight. The goons nod and do as they are told. The last thing Naruto and Nero see is the third goon take one final look around the room before exiting the house. Naruto stops the video and puts away the camera. He then turned to see Nero trembling from seeing the video. Nero, what's going on? Who were these men and why did they kidnap your sister? The geek sighs as he looks at his friend, it's because of Emma's deceased parents. You see. With Arnett. Arnett enters her room as she was just released out of the infirmary, sheesh, it was just a cut and some bruises, and they keep me in all day. The female Macmillan complains. She then shivered in fear a little. She almost got killed in this year's carnival. That smiling monster, Chiffon Fairchild, almost crushed her skull when Arnett failed to beat her. Arnett sighs, she never felt such humiliation, even when that time she lost to Elizabeth, another rich girl, but she was likable. The girl helped her out when a few bitchy second-year Pandora tried to assert their authority over the freshmen. Arnett snarled at their actions before throwing herself against them. While she was strong she was still outnumbered and was defeated. The second-year Pandora kept beating her even after she went down until Elizabeth came in and helped her beat them. Afterwards the two had their own battle, and Arnett fought to the best of her abilities, but lost against Mabley's Type SSS Volt weapon. Arnett then couldn't help but smile as she was recently titled the kind mad dog. The reason why she was given this title is that while she may fight like a wild beast during combat, but she always helps out the girls that were defeated by her, and many of them look up to her because of it. Another reason for the title is because of how she mocks the upperclassmen Pandora and their order of the school, making many of them hate her in the process. If Naruto was here, he would be disgusted at the way the strong make the weak fear them. Arnett stood up and looked at her tablet to see that she received no messages again. For the last few days Arnett and Naruto were busy with the preparations for the exams and the carnival. She really wanted to talk to him right now, she misses him terribly, especially since that near-death experience that was and still is hard to deal with. She gets off her bed, grabs her locket before exiting her room. Why do I have a feeling that you are doing something dumb right now, little brother? Oh, isn't that cute? Barnett head whips around to see three upperclassmen looking at her arrogantly. Come with us, we just want to have a little chat. The red-headed girl was prepared to outright refuse them until she saw that they had her tablet in their possession. Suddenly another Pandora appeared in front of her and grabs her locket. Barnett glares at them knowing that they have her in their hands now. But Naruto and Nero were sitting in bus that drove towards the docks, so Emma's parents used to be some sort of super detectives who had put a lot of criminals behind the bars. Nero nods, they didn't just arrest simple criminals, they had shut down many crime syndicates and had arrested entire mafia groups. Emma's mother was a master hacker and would hack into syndicate computer systems, gathering digital evidence and turning off their security systems when policemen would raid their bases. Emma's father was the one who gathered the physical evidence, and his sharp mind solved many unfinished cases. They were the pride of the police force until both died when their plane crashed. It was hit by a sudden storm when they were flying back home. Nero then clenches his hands into fists. Emma was left in my care, since my parents used to be close friends to her parents. Naruto looks at Nero with a confused look. Why was she left in your care? Doesn't Emma have any relatives? She does have, but none of them want to take her in. None of the relatives want to do anything with her because they fear that if they take her in, she might bring trouble with her. Nero said in disgust. What? Naruto was shocked by what Nero said. Why? She hasn't done anything wrong. It's not her specifically that they fear, but her parents' reputation. Because of the many cases they solved and many criminals they arrested, they had become prime targets for the various underground societies who lost a lot of business because of them. Not to mention there are a lot of criminal leaders who want to exact personal revenge against them. But with Emma's parents being dead, their attention has shifted to her. Nero explains in solemn voice. Naruto nods in understanding. I see, her relatives don't want to do anything for her because they fear that criminals will come after them as well. She was put in your care because your parents' friendship with her parents was less known. Nero lowers his head in depression, and now they've got her. I failed to protect her. I don't give up on her yet. We still have time. We can and will save her. Naruto cuts him off with his sudden announcement. Nero looks at Naruto with hope in his eyes, but what should we do? First, can you access the dock's computer systems with your laptop? Nero nods in confirmation. Check their logs if any ships are scheduled to leave at midnight. Nero quickly takes out his laptop, inserts his own customized wireless internet adapter, and starts typing away. There is a cargo ship named Nex Atlas that is supposed to depart at 12 o'clock during midnight. Naruto's face frown in concentration and he looks at his watch. Now is 9:30, which means we have 2.5 hours to rescue Emma. We are still about half an hour away from reaching the docks, which leaves us with 2 hours. Is there anything that can be done to delay the ship's departure? Nero nods. Yeah, from the information I'm reading here, these docks were built to be enclosed, and at 1 o'clock AM the water gates are closed, preventing ships from getting in and out. I can rearrange the gate schedule so that it would close at 12 o'clock midnight and lock all of the systems. This will buy us approximately 2 more hours before they figure out how to open them. Do it and afterward have the police receive anonymous call at 11:50 PM about suspected illegal activity at the docks. Naruto stated. Nero looks confused at Naruto. Wouldn't it be better to inform the police now? Naruto shook his head. No, if the police get there too soon, the kidnappers might become desperate and use Emma as a hostage against them, or worse, kill her. Nero becomes pale at hearing that and nods in understanding. So, what's next? Check if the docks have any security cameras. If they do, see what kind of activity is going on there. Naruto asks. Nero quickly begins typing again. Got it. It appears that the docks are mostly empty. Wait, I can see them. The men in black suits. They are using cranes to store some cargo crates. Emma is most likely aboard the ship itself. How many goons are out there? Naruto asks. 10 men are outside and are armed with machine guns. One is operating the crane, and about 14 of them are patrolling the ship. The rest of them are most likely inside. Alright, here's the plan. When reach the docks, we will sneak in, and then I want you to stay hidden near the docks control tower and again hack into the system. From there, I will move on my own and infiltrate the ship with you watching my back through the cameras while keeping me updated on any changes via cell phone. Naruto explained. Nero decides to protest on the last part. What? No way, you can't do this all alone. They are armed and won't hesitate to kill you if spotted. Naruto simply smiles encouragingly. Don't worry about me, I know what I'm doing, and I promise you I will get your sister back. Besides, I won't exactly be doing this by myself. You will be helping through electronic ways. Nero sighs in resignation before a smile crept on his face as well. Alright, but be careful, okay? I've already lost much in my life, and I'm not willing to lose my best friend, nor my sister. Naruto nods in return and then his face becomes serious. Heads up, we're here. The bus stops and before the two exit, Naruto turns to the driver and gives him a small wad cash. Thanks for the ride, old man. You best go now before your company starts questioning you. The 50-year-old drive nods and quickly drives away. Where did you meet this guy? Naruto just simply replies, let's just say he was harassed by some thugs, and I took care of them. Let's leave it at that. The two follow their plan and sneak into the docks. The workers already left for the night, so they had no problem sneaking past fence and near the control tower. Alright, you know what you got to do. Watch my back and keep me updated. Thanks to Nero's surveillance, Naruto manages to sneak past the goons patrolling outside the ship and get on the deck using one of the chains attached to it. Be careful, Naruto. Once you're inside the ship you will have to be extra careful as there are no cameras there. All I will be able to do is keep you informed on what's going on outside. Nero warns his friend via cell phone. Understood, be on the lookout. Naruto silently sneaks into the ship hangars and starts searching each of them for Emma. He continued doing that until a female scream was heard coming from the engine room. He sneaks in there and sees an older woman holding a tied-up Emma by her throat. Naruto would have considered the woman quite beautiful, if not for the pure evil intentions that radiated from her eyes. She was in her early 30s, had long, waist-length black hair, a mature and beautiful face with purple lips, brown eyes and an hourglass figure with D-cup breasts. She was dressed in an expensive business suit with a miniskirt instead of pants, a red button-up dress shirt, dark women dress shoes, and with golden earrings to complete the look. Kano from X. Naruto also notices 4 women dressed in full black suits standing behind her in different locations of the engine room, most likely her bodyguards. So this is the daughter of the infamous Danziger duo. To honest, I was expecting a bit more of a looker, but I guess you will have to do. I wonder, how loud will you scream once the torture begins? The woman licks her lips at the end of the sentence. Emma doesn't answer her as she is too terrified at the moment to form any clear words. Not willing to listen to this anymore, Naruto sneaks behind the 4 bodyguards while the boss woman was concentrated on Emma. He swiftly and silently knocks them out, one by one. As the final bodyguard is put into unconsciousness, he slowly moves behind the boss woman, but is surprised when she suddenly turns around while holding Emma by her waist and pointing a gun at her head. My, what do we have here? A little boy trying to play a hero. Thou, I have to admit that this one is quite cute, wouldn't you agree, Emma? The woman spoke in an amused voice. Naruto. The geek girl yells but is silenced when the woman presses her closer to her head. Oh, so this cutie's name is Naruto. A strange name in this part of the world, but it doesn't matter. You must be quite skilled if you manage to sneak into the ship while avoiding detection and even knock out my bodyguards, quite impressive. The woman says in both odd and amused voice. Let her go, she didn't do anything to you. Naruto demands. Perhaps she didn't, but I simply can't pass up the chance of killing off those 2 bastard spawn. She says with a sneer, it's because of her parents that I lost my position as the queen of the underworld. With my organization I could do whatever I want and have whatever I want. Everyone feared and respected the name Kano. But those 2 detectives ruined everything. They exposed me to the police and the government. They also raided my safe houses and froze all of my finances. She then takes a deep breath to calm herself down. You have no idea how hard it was start back up again, and even now I can't reveal myself to the public as the police are hunting me. I swore to personally get my revenge on them, but they just went off and died at that plane crash. For years I felt unfulfilled, denied my revenge until I found out about this sweet little girl. The woman, now named Kano, said sadistically. Listen, you don't have to do this. Just let her go. Are you really willing to stick so low as to kill a simple girl because you couldn't kill the people that ruined you? Naruto tries to reason with the woman. Mahahahu, you're so amusing. Do you really believe that you can reason with me? I didn't get to where I was because I allowed myself to be swayed by the words of others. But how about this instead? Why don't you join me instead? It takes a lot of talent and skill to sneak past my men and knock out my bodyguard without them noticing anything. I can make it worth your while, she said seductively while licking Emma's ear and touching her chest with the unarmed hand. Emma tries to struggle a little, but is helpless to do anything as Kano is still holding a gun against her head. Naruto at the moment is both angry and desperate. The woman is currently holding all the cards and he can't attack her as she holding the gun too close to Emma. One mistake and she is dead. Suddenly the whole ship shook light and the woman slightly released her hold on Emma while moving the gun away from the head. Naruto capitalizes on Kano's break confusion and rushes in. With one hand grabs the arm that's holding the gun while his other hand pushes Emma away. Kano quickly regained her bearing and she struggled with the blonde for the gun until he hits her in the face with his elbow, causing her to release the weapon which falls over the railing. Naruto doesn't waste any time, is about to knock her out with a well-placed punch until he suddenly gasps in pain when he feels Kano knee him in the gut and then kick him away with a roundhouse kick. Naruto lands on his back but quickly recovers. He is about to charge until he spits out some blood and falls to his knees. Wow, what? Just how strong were her hits to cause me this much damage? He looks up when he hears the woman chuckle lightly, surprised. It's only natural that you are, after all it's not every day that you get to face an ex-Chevalier Pandora. My stigmata may be removed, but over the years of training as a Pandora, my strength, reflexes and instincts are beyond that of a normal human. That's how I was able to sense you behind me when you tried attacking me. You don't stand a chance, boy. She declared with arrogance dripping from her voice. Damn it, if I use normal human speed and strength, I don't stand a chance against her, but if attack at full power, then my secret will be discovered. Naruto thinks while glancing from the corner of his eye at the geek girl, there's no choice, I have to do it or Emma might get killed by this psycho. Naruto goes into a fighting stance preparing to charge at Kano. Heh, you think you can defeat me? Come then, boy, meet your own death. The ex-Chevalier says only to quickly regret those words when in milliseconds time he appeared in front of her. Wow. She wasn't given the time to continue that sentence when Naruto punches her hard in the kidney. He then grabs her head and knees it, breaking her nose and causing it to bleed badly. The woman tries retaliating by throwing a wild punch towards his jaw, but Naruto grabs her arms halfway through the motion and breaks it. Kano tried to scream but was prevented from it when Naruto punches her in the throat, causing her to gasp for air instead. He then delivers a roundhouse kick to her head and she is flung across the room, hitting the engine room's metal wall and getting instantly knocked out. Emma could not believe what she just saw. Naruto was able to defeat an ex-Chevalier Pandora single-handedly. The speed and strength he used was beyond any human capabilities. He was almost as strong as a Pandora. Naruto quickly unties Emma and looks her straight in the eye. Look, you're a very smart girl and most likely have drawn some conclusions about me, but I beg you to keep it a secret. I will tell you all about my abilities to you and Nero when I'm ready, but not now. So please. He is cut off from speaking when Emma places her finger on his lips to silence him. It's okay. Everyone has their secrets and I promise you I won't tell anybody about you. It's the least I can do for saving me. She says kindly while smiling. Naruto smiles as well and helps her to stand up. Come on. Let's get out of here. Your brother is waiting. He then starts walking out of the ship while taking a glance at his watch. It's 12:04 past midnight. The water gate is closed and most likely caused a slight turbulence. Looks like my luck is still effective. With Arnett. The redhead Macmillan was in the gymnasium with 6 other upperclassmen that still had her items. Okay, just do it, she declares as she sees the upperclassmen glaring at her with angry expressions on their faces. It's clear that you want one thing: to teach me where my place belongs. One of the girls with aquamarine hair that was tied into a single left side ponytail nods. That's true, but we're also going to make you learn a few more things, like how you don't ever disrespect your upperclassmen. Arnett narrowed her eyes and she shook her head. So what if I stop you from harassing other Pandora? The upperclassmen Pandora are supposed to be role models to look up to, not spoiled and arrogant tyrants. She shouts at them to make her stand. The leader of the group snarls at those words. She grabs Arnett's locket and throws it to the floor. She then smirks while stepping on it hard, causing it to break apart. You bitch. Arnett yells as she tackles the upperclassman and punches her in the gut. As the girl fell, Arnett grabs her tablet from the girl's skirt pocket and the remains of her locket before one of the other second-year Pandora stepped on her head. Arg, damn that hurts. That's it. We're going to erg. The senior that was stepping on Arnett's head was knocked off her feet courtesy of Creo. The petite girl frowns at them, not really fair when it's one against so many others. Creo ducks as another girl came and kicked another senior. I agree. Arnett should have at least the proper amount of comrades backing her up. Elizabeth declares. She smiles and helps up the redhead. Arnett gets up as she smirks at the upperclassmen. Well, now it's my turn to teach you all a lesson. A few hours later, Arnett, Elizabeth, and Creo, covered in bandages, sat at the stone steps that led to the female dormitories. Arnett looks at her locket, now bent, and the pictures were dirty and ripped. Aw man, did they break it? Elizabeth puts a hand on her friend's shoulder. If you want, I can get the same one to replace it. No, but thanks for the offer. You see, this was given to me by my little brother, so I'll keep it no matter what, it's precious to me. Arnett responds as she uses her fingers to fix the dents. Increased strength does have its advantages. Creo looks at her with a deadpan expression. Sometimes I think you and your supposed brother are really a couple. Arnett mock scowls at her roommate as Creo laughs. Yeah, laugh it up. But seriously, he's my little brother and there is nothing wrong with caring for your family. Also, remember Creo that I can snore louder if you continue making comments like that. Arnett threatens her friend and Creo snaps her fingers in disappointment. Still, we can't let things go on like this. Elizabeth nods. I agree, we should look out for each other more and our fellow freshmen. Arnett smiles, glad that she was able to find such good friends. Naruto, I can't wait for you to meet everyone when you arrive. With Naruto. Nero was holding a sleeping Emma who was mentally and physically exhausted. He was in his sister's room as she peacefully lay on her bed. I swear, I won't let anything bad ever happen to you again. Emma. Nero looks at Naruto while placing a blanket over his sister. Thanks you, Naruto, not only for saving my sister, but also for being a good friend. Naruto shrugs, no problem. That's what friends are for, right? To look out for each other. By the way, what happened after we left the docks? Nero adjusts his glasses a bit before answering, you don't have to worry about Connie ever coming back again. The police had locked her up and sent her immediately to a maximum security prison. She will spend the rest of her days eating bad food and while constantly being surrounded by four walls. Naruto scratches the back of his head smiling, that's good. That woman was seriously messed up in the head if she was willing to go so far. Simple revenge. Nero shrugs, some people are simply crazy like that. He then looks directly into his friend's eyes. Naruto, if you ever need help with something, anything, don't hesitate to ask, okay? It's the least I can do for what you have done. Naruto simply smiles at him and nods. Afterwards he turns around to leave the room while waving goodbye behind him. Nero turns back to look at Emma, gently pets her head. Thank you, Naruto, thank you. Chapter end. Alright, that's it for today's video guys. Let me know in the comments section how was the story, and also don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I will meet you in another video. Peace out.